Liverpool. The sun is out, a little bit of wind. We're expecting some more birdies this afternoon. We've seen some already. The first Open Championship to ever have been played here was back in 1897. This really is a landscape steeped in golfing history. Fantastic territory to play links golf. Here with Pete Finch on the range, and Pete, we've been here all day and loved every single second, and my goodness, it's tasty out there in terms of scoring, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, there's some big scores out there, actually. There's a lot higher scores than I thought there would be, and atop of the leaderboard at the moment is someone who I would not have quite expected. If you'd have asked me to pick the top 6 players at the top of the leaderboard by lunchtime on day one, I think I could have had 60s and not got anywhere
Well, you probably
near.
would have had 156
Okay,
guesses.
yeah, Australia. Yeah.
156 play. Let's have a look at that leaderboard and see that Christo Lamprecht, the amateur, is right up there at 4 under par. He's through 17 holes. 3 birdies on the front line, out in 32. Birdies on 3, 5 and 6. Also a birdie on 10 as well. And Stuart Sink, the 2009 Open champion, -3 with Marcel Siem. It's a fantastic leaderboard right now. Marcel, who we spoke to a couple of days ago, winner in India this season, and is loving life at the moment in Mauritius. Was very cool, calm and collected on the range. Matthew Jordan, local lad, teed off at 6:35 a.m.
Yeah,
69,
fantastic
Peter.
to see. The crowd that he took around with him was unbelievable, and he dealt with the pressure and he thrived on it. And 2 under, near the top of the leaderboard. I think he's going to be very, very happy with that first round. There must have been so much pressure on him. I think he's probably just happy to get it out of the way.
Well, definitely. He's had a lot of support over the last few days, and the crowds were really out in force, and delighted to see him walk up that 18th and finish off with a 69. I've just actually been sat in the 18th grandstand during our lunch break. It's like it's a feeling you can't really describe unless you've actually experienced it. And I watched Alex Maguire, who we spoke to on the range with his dad Sean earlier in the week, and had the most sensational chip shot over the bunker on the left. You know, you've got those bunkers on the left-hand side of the green, which a really tight line. And he managed to just trickle the ball down to the hole. Massive applause. Everyone went crazy.
We'll ask you when you see him how much intention how much intention there was behind that shot. I'm not completely convinced he meant it.
Yeah,
but as long as you hold your finish, wave to the crowd, you're absolutely fine.
Oh, Jack, his caddy, was delighted. They did a little fist pump, and he finished at 1 over par, Alex Maguire, who qualified a couple of weeks ago. So we are keeping abreast of everything here on the range. And George Harper Jr. has been out and about, but he is on his way to us, Pete. He's in a car.
Yes, I believe he's
Why does he get a car and we don't?
He snuck into a player's car.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah,
there he is. Oh no, he's got the whole crew there. They're all, it's a bit wobbly though. The driver's note steady, 5 miles an hour. You've got to go here.
Yeah, rumour has it.
Does he look happy to be here?
Yeah,
yes, there's a smile, George.
Him.
There's a smile. He's done such a great job, hasn't he? He's been chatting to all the players over the last few days and getting some real great nuggets of information from them. It's like no other, isn't it, this live at the range, being able to get really inside the ropes and speak to those who are playing this week.
Yeah, it's the access, and I think one difference between here and, let's say, just like a normal press conference is the players are a lot more relaxed because they're in their element. And you know, they open up just a little bit more, and I see someone else who's currently in their element.
Colin Montgomery is 7-time Order of Merit winner.
Well, thank you so much.
Great
delighted
to see you
be here.
here.
Thank you. Yeah, delighted to be here. And
it's as if we planned this, though. You know, the walk.
It's as if you planned.
But we didn't.
It's as if I was loitering.
Loitering. It's fantastic to have you here at the Open Championship, Colin.
Thank you.
How have the last few days been for you here?
Well, it's been fantastic. You know, this is nice. It's nice to see this range quiet. You know, with a 1-tee start, it's always quite quiet. There's only 3 people every 11 minutes. It used to be 10, but we won't go there. But at the same time, I'm just watching Dustin Johnson's figures there on the top tracer, you know, the technology there, and it's frightening to think what clubs they think he's hitting and what clubs he actually is hitting. You know, the top tracer thinks it's a 7-iron, it's actually a 9-iron. You know,
it's unbelievable, isn't it? Some of these
the game has changed dramatically over the last, I'd say 15, but 10 years really. You know, from what we used to. I still hit the 255 carry, say, and it goes 275. That's my distance. I've always been that way. Technology has kept me at that 275 level. But nowadays, I mean, that's unfortunately 50 50, 60 yards short.
Yeah.
Things seem to accelerate within the last 10 years, don't they? Yeah.
Hasn't it? I think it's not just the ball and the clubs, it's actually the athlete now as well, you know, it's the player. And you see the size of the guys now, they're getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Yeah. So it's amazing. It's now 3 elements as opposed to 2. It used to be the ball and the club. Now it's the person as well.
I don't know what kind of you've seen, but something that we've kind of had a look at in the last few days is some of the fastest ball speeds is all the amateurs.
I know, amazing.
Like the amateurs are hitting it just as well as professionals, and in most cases are actually hitting it further. Like the current leader's an amateur, and he was topping out at 202 miles an hour ball speed.
Well, he was 198 there on the 15th hole, the par 5, and I'm going, 198. Hang on a minute, that doesn't register, you know. I mean,
what was your
I can get nearly to 160, which isn't bad. Talking about 60, I'm 60 years old, so
60 years young, Colin.
Young, yeah.
Young.
So I can 255 to 258 is about normal under tournament pressure, which of course you tend to go a little bit faster than you do here.
Yeah.
But 190, to 200 is dramatic.
It's scary, isn't it?
If you think that's 2.5 yards per mile an hour, he's what, 40 miles an hour quicker times 2.5. Hang on a minute.
600 yards, right?
Well, there's 100. That's 100 yards.
I'm keeping up to date with this, yeah.
That's 100 yards. And you go, hang on. So if I'm hitting it 270, he's in it 370. Apparently, he almost drove the second green this morning. Now he's leading this thing, and hey, who knows? 6'8". You know, it's like the tennis players. They're coming. What's Isner? 6'10". You know, I mean, these
John
guys.
Isner,
I mean, these
longest
guys
ever match
around.
at Wimbledon.
Yeah, these guys weren't around then. You know, but here it is.
It's
So
incredible, isn't it? And great,
to see.
So he's 4 under. So he had 3 birdies on the front 9. He birdied 10, which is the long par 4 now. It used to be par 5 when you played it, didn't it?
Yes.
Over 500 yards. Not an easy hole to birdie.
No,
You've got that trap on the right as well.
You're hitting it 350. You've got 150 to go.
Yeah.
It's a wedge.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's a
easy.
driver wedge. I mean, come on, what are you talking about?
and-
Huh?
And all,
It's a pushover.
well, I think all of a sudden we think about like the drives going that massive distance, but you also got to remember that when it gets to 150 yards, it's not an 8-iron anymore. He's hitting a wedge.
I know, yeah.
So
yeah.
like that distance, it does filter down all the way through the bag. So that 10th hole, whilst it it is a tough hole. At the same time for these guys, it's a tough hole.
It's okay.
It's still 500-yard par 4, And as you say, when I played here in 2006, although it was dry, it was 500. It was 20 yards further, par 5. And the green is a par 5 green. So you need to be hitting a wedge in to hold that green, because it's designed differently. So, but it's a whole different game. It's interesting to see the distances. That's my main thing coming here to watch the range.
Totally.
And not just the distance, it's the height.
Yeah.
It's the height, it's the stopping ability. It's that height it's coming down at. I don't know what it's, angle of attack or whatever, or angle of descent.
Descent angle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go, descent angle, thank you very much. That's way above sometimes 50, 60 degrees. It's coming down almost vertically. And therefore it's stopping as well. So it's a whole different game. Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's nice when you actually get to the Open and these ranges, because like week to week, generally the ball flights that you see are you're craning your neck. But here they actually adapt a little bit more, and they have to try these different types of shots. The amount of 2-irons that have gone in the bag this week,
Everyone's got
the
2
tour
iron
trucks have
teams.
been struggling.
Yeah, I could imagine. And we play our Senior Open at Royal Porthcawl next week, and I've put a 3-iron in the bag.
Yeah.
Right, for the same sort of reason. A strong 3-iron. It's 18 degrees, which is the old 2-iron, really, I suppose, degrees-wise. They're all using this, especially when you hear of Tiger winning this championship so easily in the end by using an iron off the tee. The bunkers here are very strategically placed. You can stay short or you can go past. Past is sometimes not able with a breeze right now, so you stay short with your iron and then you go in. But provided you keep out of those bunkers, you can always sort of proceed out the rough. You can go forward out the rough. You cannot out the bunkers. Not with a face in front of you, a vertical face. So by all means go in the rough, but do not go in the bunkers, and that's what they're all putting these long irons in play for, to stay short of the bunkers as opposed to go over them.
Yeah. I was just thinking of Matthew Jordan, who dropped a shot. His first drop shot was because he was almost plugged in the front of a bunker. You mentioned Tiger Woods carving his way around this golf course in 2006. He went in the bunker on 10. It took him a couple to get out in, I think it was the 3rd round. But yeah, I mean, it's just a one-shot penalty basically, isn't it, if you go in the bunker?
Well, if you're not careful, it's
Or
more
2.
than that, or more than that.
Or 15 for me.
Just think, as the Americans do, they go in the bunkers and think, okay, I can can get a 9-iron out of here. Okay, hang on. No.
Yes.
You know, just, and then you hit
Take
the
your
very
penalty.
top, take your penalty, get on the green and have your putt for a par. If you miss, okay, you've dropped one shot. Do not drop two.
Yeah.
That's when the problem starts in Open Championship. You try and win it. You try and win these things Thursday, Friday. No. Get in position Thursday, Friday by not doing something stupid.
Yeah, it's great when it starts to play a little bit drier like this as well with those bunkers. It's not just, even if you get out, it's not safe because it might roll the way back.
Correct.
Like the actual collection area of the bunkers makes the hazard much bigger.
Huge,
Yes.
huge. I mean, the bunker might be 3 or 4 yards wide, but actually the sort of gathering area as such starts 20 yards away.
Yeah.
So the massive hazards.
Just sucks balls in from everywhere. You look down,
sucks.
pick your tee up, your ball's gone.
It sucks it in, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Well, we
magnets.
you've seen the leaderboard at the moment, so it goes from 4 under. I don't know what the lowest score is, Pete. You were saying about you've seen some higher scores than you expected.
Yeah, I think a 66 today is a very good score.
Very excellent
Yes.
score, would you say?
Yes, I would
Yeah.
say 66. I'd say 5 under was a very, very good score today. I think that could lead. And then you're looking at possibly 7 or 8 leading after tomorrow, because the weather forecast is set fair today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
And therefore it's usually about 10 shots. If you're thinking about cuts already, you're looking at about a 10-shot gap between the first and the 70th place. So your cut should be around about 2 over, which makes sense. 8 under to 2 over, and then we'll go for it at the
Yeah.
weekend. And the weather's not great at the weekend. It's quite inclement to say the least. So anybody within that frame has an opportunity,
Yeah.
which fine. Yeah.
Have you got a very large suitcase for all weather scenarios?
Well, I have a very large suitcase anyway, permanently.
Do you?
Yeah, well, my clothes are larger than most, so I have a very large suitcase.
Weather
But
gear,
particularly,
sunny gear.
oh God, everything travels. And of course, next week down at Royal Porth Call,
You never know what you're going to get.
I think the kitchen sink's in the car next
Yeah.
week. You know, I mean, everything goes. Yeah,
Totally.
everything goes.
Sunny in the morning does not mean sunny in the afternoon at a links course in Britain.
Absolutely. I was we were chatting to Sahi Thigala on the range the other day, and it was absolutely teeming it down. And he was holding the umbrella. His caddy was having a break, I think, for 5 minutes, and he was trying to clean everything. And it just goes to show how important caddies are in links conditions. So when it gets to the weekend, their job is massive, isn't it? It's huge.
It's absolutely. The caddy is a very, very underrated
Yeah.
position. Especially when the weather gets slightly inclement, they need 8 hands.
Can you
You
feel
know,
that breeze now?
yes, you can. It's picking up, and this is what happens on the coast here.
Yeah.
Picks up, the tide
Really
turns,
windy.
the tide turns, and here we are. It's coming in. So
Yeah.
you get that gust there, and that ball should have carried that bunker.
But it doesn't.
It just hasn't.
Totally. If your ball was in the air just then.
This is why you can usually at tennis, because the nature doesn't play that part. You know, 1, 2, 3 at the tennis in the men's got to the semi-final, right?
Yeah.
In golf, yes, okay, we're looking at Scheffler, McIlroy, RAHM. Wouldn't it be great if they are in content, all 3 of them in the lead? But it probably won't happen in golf because nature plays such a huge part
That's so true.
in what
Yeah.
can happen, you know. And the timings. Rory goes off now. At 3 o'clock? We've got two hours to go before he tees off. The weather could change dramatically.
I
You
know.
just don't know.
It's incredible. The last tee time is 4:16 p.m.
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's 6:35 a.m.
It's
to
crazy.
4:16 p.m.
We love
It's
the
about
1T
time management,
starts,
isn't
don't we,
it?
though? We won the 1T
Oh,
starts.
yeah.
So is this favourite tournament of the year?
It always was,
Yeah.
of course, yes, it always was. As a British golfer, this was the #1 tournament. Unfortunately, my record in the Open wasn't as good as I would like it. I was second.
Second in 2005?
Second at St Andrews to, God, no, I forget
Who
his
was
name.
it?
I forget his name.
Woods, someone.
No.
I forget his name.
Tiger.
It wasn't bad. I beat the rest of them. That was all right. But it was always fell at the wrong time for me, the Open. After the Scottish Open, it was the Irish Open and the Scottish Open, and I happened to have done particularly well in those events, and it took a lot out of me
Yeah.
coming into the Open, and I didn't do as well as I possibly should have done.
That's
but
really
always-
interesting that
but
all your energy went into those events.
Yeah, well, it was just the European Tours.
That's
It
what you
was then.
did, yeah.
That's what you did. You came to the Open, and whether I was tired or not, I'm not sure. But I couldn't have missed the Irish or the Scottish Opens. If it was the Austrian or the Dutch Open or whatever, yes, I could have
Yes.
missed them. But just unfortunately, I couldn't. So the timing wasn't too great for me.
Just
but
got
I did
Francesco
enjoy.
behind you. He was just checking out the turf there, actually, Colin, and he wasn't
He's
happy with
moved.
that bay. He wasn't happy with bay 7,
All
so
right.
he's moving down the
I see.
range.
I thought 7 was the lucky number, wasn't it? Anyway,
well, maybe he's looked at the number. I don't know.
So he's not happy. So this is.
He wants a bit more room,
but
though.
This is what it is. This is what it is now, isn't it?
Should we take a little wander down?
Yes.
Actually, the range.
I was listening to the radio this morning on the way up.
Quick word on Zach Johnson before we talk about the radio. Bay 8, former champ, massive Ryder Cup September, Colin.
He's got a big job on his hands.
Yeah, what's your advice to him? Oh, don't give too much, though.
Actually, I don't have any good advice, with all respect.
Yeah, but what are you going to tell him?
He's got a great team. He's got a great team assembled, and of course, the last time at Whistling Straits was rather a disappointment for Europe. And a year ago, I'd have said, "Oh, we're in trouble." Now, I think you'd agree. I think you'd both agree that now it's looking very, very much. I would say we're starting this as favourites. We've got a great 8 or 9 players right now, and if we can get these 3 others, these 3 rookies that might come in at the end there on form, I think we've got a very good 12. We've got a very good 12. You know, the Tyrrell Hattons come through, the Tommy Fleetwood, these guys. Justin Rose winning in America there. On top of your Fitzpatrick, Hovland, RAHM, McIlroy. Suddenly you've got Lowry. You've got a good unit there.
It was all of a sudden like a year ago. It's like, what's the team going to be? Have we got enough players to pick from? All of a sudden, there's a group of about 20 that you could easily slot in.
Yeah, Victor Perez, winning Abu Dhabi there, doing well in the match play. Bob McIntyre there, I mean,
almost. Let's get our steps in, chaps.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I've just got to. We'll do a little walk down the range, but he's got a great chance, though, hasn't he?
Because as Ryder Cup captain, to actually perform and to play here, because his mind's on September, obviously, because one, it's being captain. The next thing is trying to win the damn thing, so it's interesting. But it's interesting to walk down the range.
It is. Are you happy to stay with us for a few more minutes?
Sure, fine,
Great.
whatever.
We're just going to take a really short break, and we're going to assess DJ on our left, and we'll speak about him in just a couple of minutes' time. Thanks, Colin. Thank you. Let's take a look here.
Follow the 151st Open in unrivaled detail on the open.com and the Open app. Go behind the scenes with Live at the Range from Monday to Sunday of Open Week.
Yeah, that was flush.
Track every shot hit at the championship and get real-time statistics with ShotView. Get minute-by-minute coverage on the go with Open Radio.
Well, jumping up and down. It's an unbelievable bunker shot.
Follow feature groups throughout each day of the championship and soak up all the action on the incredible 17th hole with the Par 3 channel. All streamed live on the open.com and the Open app. Get closer to the Open wherever you are.
Welcome back, sunny northwest of England. We're loving these conditions, aren't we, Colin Montgomery?
We are indeed. This is fantastic. The weather said it was going to be okay, but this is better than okay.
As good as we could hope for.
Peter's got his jumper off for the first time.
Well, there you go.
And this is what do you think of the t-shirt?
Well, I'd have kept it on.
No.
I'd have kept the jumper on, wouldn't
I
you?
have been praying for this sun all day. This is my best shirt for the week. I wanted to get it out.
This is his only shirt. This is his only shirt.
Dear.
No, there's a lot of fashion chat on this show. Now in Bay 14, obviously we've been watching Dustin Johnson. He's there with his coach Claude Harmon III, and Claude just had his club on the left-hand side of DJ's left hip. Why was he doing that?
He was obviously trying. DJ has this tendency to sway a wee bit, so he's trying to stop him. And although we haven't heard much of Dustin Johnson lately, because of course he moved to Live, they can still play golf. Believe me, and you see him here, and he's here to compete. There's no question there,
He's one of those players who can turn up in any course and challenge. He's world class. He's a world class golfer.
Of course he is. You see the strike, the posture there's fantastic still, and
he's out in about 40 minutes' time.
He's here. You see that lovely held up fade. Now the wind's right to left as we're talking here, and he's just trying to hold it up into that right to left wind with a fade, so the ball stops even quicker on the green. So he knows what he's doing on a golf course.
Absolutely. Let's move down to Sahith Thigala, who we spoke about a minute ago, and also I spoke to the other day, and he's playing in his second Open Championship. Had a pretty, I think it was a top 40 result at St Andrews. But tell us a little bit about Sahith and what your thoughts are on his game.
I think he's done terrifically well.
Yeah.
You know, a new boy coming out here. I think he tried to get to St Andrews last year. He didn't have a passport, and he arrived at the airport in America with his driving license. As they do, they go around with their ID, the driving license, and he couldn't get on the plane. He didn't have a passport. I had to go back and get a passport to get here. So he was in awe of St Andrews. He was looking around the town, thinking, "I'm here, home of golf. I can't believe it." So he did very well. But this time he's here to. I think he's here for different reasons. This time he's here to not just to compete, but to contend, I think, and he's quite capable of doing so.
You know, I think by his own admission, like certainly last year on tour, he was still getting comfortable, like bedding in, like
you do.
Trying to figure out how, you know, he fits in amongst the very best players in the world, and actually being comfortable with being one of the very best players in the world.
Yes.
And like he's not won on tour yet, but he's been close a few times, and he's got the game which is more than good enough to compete with these guys.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. And you see again the high fade. See that? They're now long enough. I was never really long enough to fade the ball, or else I did, but I wasn't long enough. These guys are so long now. You can see this hold up. You see that fade there?
Yeah.
Right, the hold up to the right to left wind. They're all long enough now and athletic enough to be able to do that. Yeah.
He doesn't like wearing waterproofs, so at the weekend I'm wondering if he will.
He might get wet.
Well, he said he doesn't even like the ones, you know, with the sleeves ripped off that Payne Stewart fashioned years ago.
Sure.
So he was absolutely soaked the other day. Didn't care. Just wanted to play without waterproofs.
Well, God made us waterproof. He did. So,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, hey,
ultimately
come on,
we're all waterproof.
Yeah, come on, we're all waterproof, aren't we?
He didn't like the sound of the crunch and the feel. So golfers can be quite particular, Colin.
Yes, they can. Now, in America especially.
What were you particular about?
Well, yeah,
Noise.
I didn't like. Well, yeah, noise. It's okay here, but waterproofs. I could never swing in a jacket. Trousers, yes, I could. I could never swing in a jacket. I was always felt a little bit restricted.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just get on with it. You know, fine. If he wants to just. He's actually hitting the ball extremely well.
Very
I mean,
good,
those last must have been 7 iron, 8 iron. They've filled the same airspace. These last 3 shots. This is very good.
What are your thoughts? What are your
score today?
What are your thoughts before going out for an Open Championship? For instance, when was your second Open? I mean, there's no experience there, really, is there?
No,
there's just a small bit, but the hour before tee off is quite for your headspace. Nerves, excitement, anticipation.
I think excitement, anticipation. Really, I don't think nerves. You're not nervous here.
Yeah.
No, you just anticipation is, okay. Can I get off to a good start? Can I get up there? You know. But the job today, as I said earlier, the job today and tomorrow is not to make any silly mental errors.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Anticipation, yes, but don't make any mental mistakes. There's a number of mental mistakes going on right now. People have gone in bunkers and taken 2 or 3 out of bunker or whatever it might be. Mental errors, do not make them. If you're going to make a mistake, make a bogey, then get back a ball. Doubles are difficult. So it's a matter of just getting into that frame of mind that's not going to make a mistake. And that's where the caddy comes in as well. The caddy's vital. Normally when I make a triple bogey or a double bogey, okay, it's my fault, I've hit the shots. But the caddy hasn't helped either. I've made some silly mistakes.
They're the ones you look at.
Of course, yeah, I mean, it's always his fault, you know. So, but it's just a matter of just an anticipation, yes, but with being reserved as well.
I mean, that's what separates, like, obviously you're one of the very best players, you know, to play the game, certainly from European soil, and I think that probably makes a difference. Like, you feel that excitement, that anticipation, whereas most people watching and listening to this will be absolutely bricking themselves by now. But that's what separates these guys.
Some are amateur players would be nervous. I'd be full of anticipation, looking forward to what might happen on the day.
Love that.
You're looking forward to seeing what I can do. You know. Yeah.
Just have a quick look at Sahith's swing.
Right.
And what are you noticing here?
Well, again, there's no rush.
Yeah.
There's no rush. A swing with time is a good one. Always. There's no rush there. He's not trying to hit the ball very hard.
No training, no real training aids either on the the range today.
Not now. I think it's too late for that now. If you're thinking about your swing right now, you're too late. Forget it. You might as well go home. You know. But you see Sahith here, and he's got his long iron out. He's got his driving iron, which we said earlier. Everyone's got the 2 and 3 irons out that they don't usually play in America. It's a lofted game. Here it's more along the ground.
This is it. He's got a 3 iron, hasn't he, Pete?
Yeah,
it's not a 2 iron, is it?
It's a strong 3.
It's got a 3 on it, but they're all like 17, 18 degrees.
Yeah.
But you see the length of backswing, and you see the time it takes.
Look at these 2 swings, though. How do you compare them?
Well, Dustin's a hitter. Dustin's a hitter. Sahith comes right through it as if the ball's not there, right? Light hands at address. He seems to have light hand and actually comes through the ball as if it's not there, right? So you're taking the ball with you. You're not hitting at the ball. You're actually hitting through the ball, and that's what Dustin does as well. He's on the right of your screen here now. He's going to hit his 3 wood here. I mean, you see this right through. See? It doesn't stop because you've hit the ball. Most amateurs stop and look for it in a sort of that anxiety, that anxious way to find out where it's gone. These guys know where it's going to go, so they can come through it. But if I was going to give a tip to any amateurs watching, hit through the ball and do not hit at it.
Elongate the hitting zone.
Correct.
Correct.
Long hitting area.
I played with Colin. Last year in Dubai.
In Dubai, that's right.
And it always
It's
stuck.
a tough life, isn't it?
We were chatting through the golf swing, and that's always stuck with me.
Really?
Yeah. It's just getting what it's got to elongate the hitting zone.
Yeah.
And any time I whip the ball, I always say to myself, they've got to just elongate the hitting zone.
It's amazing what you remember.
I know if our younger viewers won't know, but the sort of Lee Trevino, the way that the hitting area was almost 2 or 3 foot long, it was right through, as opposed to standing there in just a short one. If I could almost keep that blade on line for as long as possible, I was okay. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it fantastic? So great that there are so many different ways to hit a golf ball, basically.
Absolutely. Isn't there many ways of batting at a crease or bowling or hitting a golf ball or whatever? But you see, they're all different. They're all different athletes. They're all different body shapes. But that's him there. He got the cutoff follow through to keep the ball down, keep the spin off it.
I say the third member of this group, really, I mean, again, like stature-wise, we're talking about half a foot shorter than Dustin. So again, it's a very different swing, much more round the body, much more shallow coming through impact. It is that the case of saying so many different ways to actually get that ball around this course.
Yeah. Well, their tee-off time is in about half an hour, and we were highlighting earlier some other key tee-off times. Rory McIlroy is out with Justin Rose and Jon Rahm. That's a great threesome, isn't it? 2:59. As you said, it's really late in the day. The last one is 4:16 p.m. and Marco Penge is out at 4:16, and he's meant to be on his honeymoon.
Oh, God.
This is his honeymoon week. He'd booked his honeymoon and then qualified, so his wife is here.
Amazing. Well, good luck to him. Unfortunately, he's been given the wrong time for a honeymoon, hasn't he?
Yeah, so
his wife says she's quite happy to be here.
Sophie, his wife, we did some filming with her a few weeks ago. She's very understanding.
She must be. She's
super. Fantastic.
Great
and best of luck to him. The last shot of the day. Sometimes
still have crowds though going
sometimes
round.
It's beneficial. I remember Wayne Stevens leading the Open at Troon, coming up the last hole at 9:30 at night. When the tide goes out, the wind might die down. It might just be a perfect time to play. You never know.
Playing links golf late in the evening with no wind is unbelievably fun. It's just so good. Like the scoring becomes much more doable as well because there is no wind. You can attack a little bit more. Shadows coming across the fairway. A few late stragglers in the crowd. It's a magical time to be out there.
Yeah,
it is.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Colin. Thank you for your time.
Well, not at all.
What's
Delighted
your plan
to be
for
here.
the rest of the day?
I'm going back to the Loch Lomond Whiskies tent, so I will be enjoying it.
And then you're on your own for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, I think I might join you at some point in my 10-minute break. Thanks, Colin. Great to see you here, and hopefully see you at some point during the week. Great stuff. Okay, let's have a quick look at the leaderboard and see if Christo Lamprecht is still at the top at 4 under par. Is he still there? He's gone to 5 under. He must have had a birdie on 18.
There's that 66 we've been talking about.
There we go.
Yeah, I think that's a good score. I mean, depending on what the wind does, I'd say that's probably the number today. Potentially, he's one of the late starters. A McIlroy, maybe if it dies a bit, could potentially get 1 or 2 past that if they play well. But I think 66 is good chance of being up there at the top of the day, at the end of the day.
Absolutely brilliant. A really great story. He played with the South Africans, Louis Oosthuizen and Charles Schwartzel. And Brandon Grace, who was the first to tee in that group this morning at 6:35, but the South African contingency were playing earlier in the week, and they've been a real support. Obviously, he's come through Louis' academy. Stuart Sink also was. Did I just see? Was he? What score was he?
He was
68.
3 under. Yeah.
Yeah, was he three under, par 71 here. Yeah, 2009 champion. We spoke to him on the range, and he's got his wife caddying for him.
He has,
He said it's helped their relationship. Well, they were both fantastic out on the course.
Well, Stuart looked very relaxed, didn't he? He was nice and chill going out there, and you know, he's an Open champion. Like, Stuart Sink is sometimes a forgotten Open champion.
Yeah.
Like, it's that year, obviously, Tom Watson had the chance, Stuart Sink came through and won. So, like, people forget, you know, this is a guy who knows how to play links golf.
Totally.
And he's someone, not quite like Harrington, but even though he's got older, he's actually still got a decent amount of distance behind him.
Yeah.
He's not falling back when compared to his peers.
Yeah. Where are you going?
I don't know, I'm just having a little wander around, yeah.
Let's go this way. Well, Bay 15's there and there's no one in it. So we're going to go that way, Pete.
See, I knew I was going in the right direction. I knew it. Subconsciously, I knew.
Oh, so we're heading down actually to Bay 21, and I'm not sure what time the Italian is out. Francesco Molinari, winner of the Open Championship at Carnoustie. Yeah, I think we can have a look at that win, can we? 2018. Let's look at it now while we stroll down.
Playing in a last round of a major, close to the lead, playing with Tiger, I mean, there was everything to make someone nervous, but I focused on my process, on hitting good shots, on playing smart golf. In my group, the attention wasn't really on me, let's put it that way. To go the weekend bogey-free, it's unthinkable, to be honest. You know, to look at the names on that claret jug, obviously, it's the best golfers in history, and to be on there, it's incredible. Someone like me coming from Italy, it's been an incredible journey.
Yeah, just watching Francesco hit a few balls before he goes out and tees off in about half an hour's time. Former champion, struggled of late for some decent results. What's going on with his game?
I know he's had an injury. He's gone through a move. I think he's gone back to Italy now as well.
Yeah, moved the family over from America.
Absolutely. And when he was going through that purple patch, winning the Open, obviously contending for the Masters as well, his putting, especially from inside 10 feet, was almost unmatched. It was absolutely fantastic. That hasn't quite been as good, and when you're a renowned ball striker, when you rely on the consistency of your swing and something's not quite right, you're going to fall down the leaderboards a little bit. But he's a class player. That's the thing. Like, he's an Open champion. He's a wonderful ball striker. I expect him to make a bit of a comeback.
Yeah, just an update on a couple of scores actually. Looking at Jordan Spieth, who's jumped up. He's through 15 holes at 2 under par. And for Jordan, birdies on 5 and 7. And also Tommy Fleetwood.
Here he is.
Tommy Fleetwood. Kev, our cameraman's happy. 2 under through 11. Birdies on 5 and 7. At the par 5, 5th. And at the par 4, 7th. Out in 34.
Yeah. I think with the amount of pressure on Fleetwood this week, because he's so fancied, I think anything on the par today is a really good score, really good score for him. Then he can build on that throughout the week.
It's great. The cream rises to the top, doesn't it? It really does.
That it does.
Wow. I could do with some strawberries and cream. Are there any in comms? Who's in comms? Who's there? Hello.
Hi, Di. And Peter Finch. It's Josh Hammond here. We've got strawberries and cream. We've had 3 bowls already.
Oh,
well,
thanks.
Thanks for sending one down.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
Oh, good to hear your voice, Josh.
I know. You're enjoying the best of the day as well.
Yeah,
it looks
great.
gorgeous
It's
down
great.
there on
We've
the
put our
range.
sun cream on, and we're ready to be here for the next few hours.
Very nice indeed. I've got Simon Holmes next to me here. That was nice to hear from Monty as well. Someone you know very well, Simon.
I do, yes. Monty Wisley, president of our club at Wisley. Here we have got another member of Wisley Golf Club. That is Francesco Molinari. So Molinari needs something to happen. He just looks a bit down in the dumps with his golf game. his lovely coach Dennis Pugh is just convalescing from a little situation, just getting a little upgrade. So Pughy, I know you'll be watching, and we all wish you well. We miss you. So I think there's something happening in the Molinari swing here. Maybe a little sequencing in the top of the backswing. Doesn't look like he's got much space there, and just looks like he fights room. Just like hasn't quite got the strike, hasn't quite got his speed up.
I saw him on Tuesday this week. I followed him for a few holes. There was a few hands off the club through impact.
Yeah, I think we'll have a look as he goes through the driver here. I would think he would be sort of looking to have like a 173 ball speed with his driver. You just see him getting a little stuck there. So he's definitely working really hard on a movement there. I think that is to maybe keep the club a little bit more in front and then maybe turn it to the top. So trying to keep his chest over it. The mistake is probably that the left side comes up too early, like the left shoulder, instead of going away from his chin and working back behind him, is kind of coming to us on our angle. And then he just gets stuck and loses speed. Let's have a look.
How different does that look to 2018 when he won at Carnoustie?
Yeah, it is. That is not the same. So I don't think that the lower body movement is quite as dynamic. So
could be down to the injury he's had.
Yeah,
possibly.
Absolutely. You know, and moving around, and then not having maybe as much time as he'd like with Dennis Pugh. So there, very neutral grip, playing really off a very straight face.
How dare he come in front of the shot like that?
Do you know what? It's just a.
Does he know who Frankie is?
You know what? It's just a funny old thing, isn't it? Just the timings of what happens. So here we go. Come on, Molinari.
He works really hard at his game as well. You'll know this, Simon.
I can tell you that on the sort of rise of his game, there was a definite sort of period where you just felt as though everything's got a bit better. Dave Allred was a big part of this sort of planning process. And for me, every step, every next test was getting passed, right? What's the next thing for him to do? Win a big tournament in America. Bang, he did it. Then have a blowout win. So 162 ball speed, that's like 10 off what we're looking for. So just a little power outage from French. Yeah, that. There you go. That's exactly what it's like. Don't get stuck and drop it in. So let's have a look at this shot. So there, chest is over. Maybe could that be a little bit more bent over to help him get a bit more space? Is that a bit too upright? And now clear out the way. Okay, there's the report up the right side of your screen. 163 ball speed, that's underpowered to 71 carry, not quite enough. So Molinari, I would say, work in progress. We're going to leave him cruise the range. Look at this.
Brian Harman there played well last week.
Brian Harman, I
well.
tell you, could be a very nice little, not that we would ever encourage anyone to be we would never, but if you fancy a gentleman's wager, let's call it that, Brian Harman could be good.
Pete Cowan there working with Danny Willett as well.
Yeah, Pete Cowan, just the range master, isn't he? He's like
I think he lives on the driving range.
He's got a little tent just on the other side of that HSBC sticker. Little banner, so there it is, perusing. Okay, there it is. Amazing, look at that. That's the practice facility, amazing quality. Who do we find down there?
One of the best, if not the best putter in the world, I
That
would
is
argue.
the current, I think that is the current major boss of the Moss. That is the new title. Lauren Roberts was the first guy to have the boss of the Moss title. Brendan Todd has had it in the past. David Howell was, I think, one of the best putters I ever saw in my whole life. And now, here it is, Denny McCarthy.
I think he's much more now than just a good putter. I think the rest of his game has improved a lot, over the last couple of months especially.
Oh, I think that's right. I mean, he easily could have won a Memorial, right? I mean, that was probably, you'd look at that and go, missed opportunity. So, Denny, what's your next step? The next thing for him is to win something big. Have a look. Apologies for Josh, who's just doing a little bit of drumming with his microphone.
I apologise.
Deafened you. So that close up there. So let's have a look where the inside of that right foot takes the pressure. A little bit of waggling around. Keep yourself in movement. Look at that. Little dancing there. And now watch the foot. Right foot loads and drives.
His first Open as well, Denny McCarthy.
Yeah.
Surprisingly as well. Did it through his finish at the Wells Fargo.
Yeah, I think I hope the world of golf starts to have much more mixing and matching, and as just a little of harmony. I think we need to love our viewers a little better. So Denny, we had a chance to speak with him, and that was with Henny.
We have Denny McCarthy in the open zone, which I'm happy about for a number of reasons. One is the wordplay on our names. This is the Henny and Denny segment. We are going to have you take on our All Club Challenge. But before we do that, you hold the best putting stats on the PGA Tour since records began. A, how does it feel to hold that accolade? And B, is it something that you've always just been naturally good at through junior golf growing up?
No, I went through some struggles in junior golf, but I figured out if I was going to play pro golf, I'm 5'8", I don't hit it very far. I need to do something very well. So I got my putting in a elite spot, if you will.
Yes.
So I realized, being 5'8", I needed to do something really well, and putting was kind of my thing, and I've kind of developed my own process over the years, and obviously it's worked pretty well for me.
Yeah, that's even more impressive considering you had your struggles, and now how does it feel to be in that position with your putting, given how hard you've worked on it?
It feels really good. I think I kind of just let my athletic, natural ability take over. I've always had good hand-eye coordination, and I feel like I read the greens really well, which is I think is very underrated and very important. So I just kind of try and be very athletic and very reactionary, and not too mechanical. And that is a recipe that's obviously worked well for me.
Yeah, absolutely, to say the least.
Yeah.
All right, talking of recipes that work well, we're going to have you take on our All Club Challenge and pick out your own recipe of club and distance. Which one do you want to hit first?
Club. So I just pick whatever club?
You hit the button and then it decides for you.
Oh, wow, okay. This is cool. This is like Wheel of Fortune. I'm like spinning the wheel here.
Yeah,
okay, 7-iron.
7-iron, and now we're going to find out how far you have to hit the 7-iron. Dun, 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 120. Okay. What's your 7-iron stock yardage?
180-ish. So I'll be shaving 60 yards off of this.
Okay.
Am I going?
Here we go.
Okay.
Talk us through. Yep, glove. Talk us through how you would go about shaving yardage off of this 7-iron.
I would just treat it like a long chip shot, honestly.
Okay.
Could come in handy this week. I hit a 7-iron yesterday on 17 here from like 140 yards. And I just tried to chip it. So I think when it gets that windy out, I don't even, picture a number in my head. It's more just like if I hit 8-iron here, I think I would have to hit it too hard. I think it would balloon too much. 6-iron would be like it would be coming in too hot. The wind wouldn't affect it enough. And I'll be like, okay, 7-iron looks right, feels right to me. Yeah. So I would kind of just, like I said, kind of going back to my putting, just kind of just using my instincts, feel. I've been playing this game long enough where, my instincts, my gut instinct is usually the correct one, and I usually go with that more often than not. So
I love that. Good advice for golf and life.
Don't don't analyze it too much. Whatever, you know, feels right. It could be a 6 iron, it could be an 8 iron, but then you realize, okay, if it's an 8 iron, I need to hit it really hard. If it's a 6 iron, I need to hit it really easy. 7, I can just kind of hit it smooth, and that's kind of how it's process of elimination to me.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm supposed to hit this 120 yards.
Yes,
okay.
correct.
Okay.
And your fairway's between the 250 and the crane.
250 and the crane. Got it. Okay. Let's see. 120 yards.
Yep.
I think I did pretty good distance-wise.
All right, let's see. Ramping up, ramping up.
Sit.
It was told to me that Denny McCarthy loves a challenge and is one of the most competitive people that... Oh, 91.
That's weak. Boo, you guys can boo, yeah. That was bad. Can I try that again?
Yes, but not with that club.
Okay.
You can try again
do I go
with
back?
a hickory.
With the hickory, okay.
See if you can beat your 91 yards to your 120.
Is 43?
Yeah.
43 degrees?
Which is kind of like
That's kind of like an 8 iron.
Yeah.
Man, this is... I kind of want to take one of these out here today and play with it. 39. That's close enough, right?
Yeah, yep.
That might be...
That's like 6, 7.5
You know,
iron.
this is so nice, I'm going to take my glove off.
I think that's a good tactic because we've had a couple people saying that they're not sure they can hold on to it.
Okay,
Have you hit a hickory club before?
If I have, it's been a really long time.
Okay.
Not recently.
All right.
Okay, so I'm still going for 120, huh?
Yes, that's right. Oh, nice strike.
I think that one's much better. I'm gonna
I
play
like
with,
the flight.
I'm going to play with hickories today.
I'm going to be told in my 121.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to see that thing spin and give me 121.
We're going to have you come in again.
Did somebody tell you
I had it in my ear.
Okay.
I can confirm.
Okay.
It was not made up. I know how
so
competitive you are.
So I need to play with hickories this week. That's the key.
That's the secret.
Key. That's the secret.
Denny, thank you so much for coming in. And best of luck this week.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Gorgeous first day here at Royal Liverpool for the 151st Open Championship. Breeze possibly stiffening a little bit. Oh, this is the place to be. The stands in the rain, sun cream on, a few sandwiches in the cooler, a few drinks, Simon. That looks tremendous though.
I'd be there. I would absolutely be there. So, who have we got there? Aha.
The 2016 Masters champion,
yeah.
Had a funny season, hasn't he, Simon?
Had a funny career.
He has really.
Had the weirdest career.
Yeah.
Wins. There you go. Sunscreen on. Wins BMW. That's so important. You've got to wear your sunscreen.
Yeah.
Kids, wear sunscreen. Wear sunscreen. So, just a very super up and down career. You know, has had some sort of big swing changes which have resulted in, you know, quite big changes in the ball flight. You know, like I would say Danny Willett is like he's a fader, right? And he's had times where he's tried to draw it, and then he's had disappearing down to 400 and something in the world. That was no good. Then he wins the Dunhill Links. Then he wins At Wentworth, the BMW. He wins the DP World Tour Champs. He wins the Masters.
He doesn't win small events, does he?
No. I mean, if you're going to win 6 events, win the ones he's won. But then, I mean, you know, Heartache a bit earlier in the season, last year, but this season, right? In terrible weather, the Fortinet, and I think he got his nose in front of Max Homer, who was in trouble. Max Homer then luckily chips it in, to be fair, and Danny 3-whacks it, and I just think he hasn't really had the bounce back from that performance yet. So just getting ready for his tee time, Joshy, at 2:04. So
do you think that interview? I remember that interview so well after the Fortinet. He was smiles. It looked like it didn't bother him, but you look at his results. It seems that it's not easy to say that directly affected him. But that surely, I think that's mentally. Yeah,
I think that's a body blow, and I think it's embarrassing, isn't it? Like, you're a tour player, you want to show your steel, you want to show your grit, and you 3-putt, not so you've got a putt to win, a putt to get in a playoff, and you lose. So it was pretty painful. I think I was doing the commentary there, and you just think, what's happened there? You don't often see that. So Danny Willett looking on the bounce back. Interesting to see. He's had time periods with Sean Foley in the US. He's had, I would say, a sort of a gravitational pull back to either Pete Cowan or Mike Walker. That sort of Sheffield steel factory of amazing golf swings that comes out of there.
We're 40 minutes before his tee time here, Simon. What is Pete Cowan saying to Danny here, do you think, if anything?
It can also be just as feedback, right? Just say, listen, Danny, will you seriously, like, what are you thinking about? Go out there and show me what you can do. I don't care about that. Don't tell me about that. This is time for you to play in your Open, the biggest tournament, close to where you live. Go out there and show me what you got. Well, what about this? I don't want to hear about that. What about no? Not talking to you.
He's going to have a lot of support as well, Danny Willett, out there today as well.
And a great player. So their little sawn-off finish. You can see that's not going to hit a draw, is it? See the apex there, and then just holding it up into what's quite a strong right to left wind. That's the most action I'd say we've seen across those flags this week. Thank goodness it's dry. It's beautiful. I don't know if you can get shots on the course, but it is absolutely teeming with people. It's a magnificent environment.
It is. The last couple of evenings here as well, the wind has completely died here.
Yeah.
It's literally nothing the last few evenings, and he's out at 2:04. That wind does die. He's going to have prime conditions out there.
Yeah, we've been out walking the golf course. I've seen you out there, Josh, you know, and it is, I mean, it's, the conditions are for scoring at the moment. You know, we can see that Christo Lamprecht, the amazing amateur, has put together, it's a par 71, so he's 5 under. That's a 66, and that's pretty amazing. We've got Sink, Spieth, and Marcel Sim. Now, if you want to have a character to, if you don't know Marcel Sim, trust us, he is a diamond.
He is.
He's an absolute diamond. You want to, that's a guy, you want to follow that guy. So back to Danny. I'll say these are just a few little clipped 8 irons, I would say. So you can see very much kind of an arms rotating around the body. There's the ball just getting to the apex, holding up, and then just dropping slightly to the right.
Looks like there's a lot of control there, Simon.
Yeah, this is a swing. This is not a flash speed swing. It's a mechanical swing. It's like if you're going to sort of, you know, you've basically got, there he is. So you could see there's the spine as an axis over the ball, and he's just swinging around that axis. So it's a case of that chin stays there, make a bit of space. Now watch where that left shoulder points at the top of the backswing here, down to the ball. See that? Look at the steep shoulder plane, and then it matches on the other side.
The funny thing is with Danny, and we kind of alluded to this at the start of talking to him, is that despite all the pretty terrible results he's had a lot of missed cuts in the last 2 months. He's the kind of guy that if he was to play really well this week, it wouldn't be a surprise.
No, but I think that's what's alarming about certain types of people, is that you can have like no form whatsoever, but they catch a sniff of something, right? A feel, and they're like, I'm a winner, right? Like the touch light is just a tiny little glimmer of hope. I've got it. That's it, I've got it. Boom, and they win. So it's not a case that some players need like a nice long run. I played well here, I finished 12th, I finished 16th, and then boom, another top 20, and then boom, 5th, then I won. And you can sort of see how that goes. Other players you go, I mean, Siwoo Kim, absolutely
yes,
complete. Nothing. Missed by 7, missed by 9, win. Right? Amazing. So you've got form horses, and then you've just got complete rogues who can do absolutely anything. And so that's what's great part of the big varieties that we see in our game.
Siwoo Kim is a couple of under today, by the way. 2 birdies on 4 and 5. The rest pars. A share of 5th place at the moment. Danny looks very relaxed here with Pete. Pete's on the phone.
But that can also be just to stand on the bag and say, you know what, how am I doing? You are looking good. Have I got this? You've got this. Do you think I can do it? Just go and do it. You know, you are a psychologist. Pete Cowan, the coaches nowadays have to have like a lot of different skills, a little bit of biomechanics, a little bit of knowledge of the equipment, how to coach players, how to talk to them, when to interact, when to stay quiet. It's magical. I love doing it, but
you genuinely do love doing it, Simon, as well.
I really do. I think there must. I don't know if it's something, if that makes me a bad person, but
Not
I
at all.
actually do love it. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, since for a long time. So I definitely found like the thing that I love to do. So that's one thing. So
you could be the busiest man in golf, I think, Simon.
Yeah,
apart from Pete Cowan, maybe.
I've got a lot of energy for golf, and I love playing golf. My 2 sons, and my wife and my friends, we have an amazing time. My 2 sons, Max and Alfie, they are like absolutely so into it. So pretty lucky, I'd have to say. Danny Willett, what sort of a day you're going to have? Hands kind of finish on that left hip, staying in that body angle a long time, working the club across, trying not to get the toe of the club to go past the heel of the club, trying to keep the ball on the line.
Do you think Royal Liverpool suits a fader of the ball? Just going through all the holes down in our head.
I'm just thinking, I mean, when in walking the course today, I have to say I was very surprised at the severity of the pins. I really was. I think there were like 8 or 9 difficult pins and no pins that really gave you anything. So I think the golf course is incredibly well balanced, and I think it's better than it was. A lot of the runoffs, a lot of the greens have got bigger. The runoffs are much more severe. So it's a very well put out, doesn't favour anything. It's a very fair test. I'm increasingly impressed with the golf course. I did play an amateur golf tournament here years and years ago. I can't remember if that was like a British amateur or an English amateur or a Tillman Trophy or something. It was guys like Paul Broad. I think Paul Broadhurst won it, if I remember. It was so windy. Anyway, played with Russell Clayton, I think. Right. Let's have a look. Nice little patch there. Not too deep, the divot. Is that held up enough? Or did that turn over? It was sort of a cocked, one-eyed look at that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think he absolutely loved that.
Yeah. So we'll leave Danny there, doing his thing. 2:04. Danny tees off, just over half an hour's time for the man from Sheffield. There's Tristan Lawrence as well. What a player he's been the last 2 years or so on the DP World Tour. Won that rain-affected Joburg Open, and then since then, he's just gone on in leaps and bounds. Few gaps, obviously, between the morning and these afternoon tee times. There's Phil, everyone, as well. And then right on the end is the Valspar champion of this season, Taylor Moore. He's playing alongside Danny Willett at 204, and so too John Daly as well. I don't think he's on the range at the moment, John Daly. Despite, even though he's not on the range today, he's actually not even been on the range all week. Which, does that surprise you with John Daly, Simon?
No, I don't think so. I think that he doesn't really, you know, he doesn't need that. I mean, he's had so many what we call like Rolls Royce, just like tee up and go. One shot, hit the button, and the engine starts, and then, you know, I'd say he's an extraordinary character. The skill that John Daly had, the natural talent, was just in bucket loads, wasn't it? He could do everything. He hit it the furthest. He had a great wedge game as a brilliant putter, and he won the Open at St Andrews. Taylor Moore, such an interesting character. Had a really, really tough time. He was heading to the airport, so he didn't really feel well, and he was going to just think about, you know, God, should I make this flight or not? And he went to the doctors, and he found that his right lung was 50% collapsed. So
amazing.
If he would have gone on the flight, he wouldn't have made it. So there you go.
Incredible.
Don't feel good. Go to the doc.
He was outside the top 700 in the world a couple of years ago, Taylor Moore. His rise through golf, through the Corn Ferry Tour and now PGA Tour as well, has been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Made the cut at the Masters as well earlier this year.
Yeah, just one of those, another one of those talents where you go, when he's good, and he won in Valspar, which is on Innisbrook, which is a really hard course, Copperhead course, you're like, wow, he just played amazing golf. And you're like, where have you been then? What have you been doing? Incredible.
Yeah, he's had a funny season, Taylor Moore. Quite a lot of missed cuts, as well as top tens and a win. As well.
Yeah, but it's I think the way that the guys play now, they're not very conservative, right? So you're not trying to finish 30th, because that's not how the sort of thing's set up. So I think they play a way more aggressive game where it's like, okay, this is 265, boss, and you've not got a great lie. And the guys goes, you know what, I'll go for it. And if it goes in the water, you miss the cut, and you have a go next week. But if you do make it, you get up into the top 5 slots, and that's where you pick up a chance to pick up a win. You've got to be so aggressive.
Just looking at his right hand there, Simon, looks quite underneath maybe than some other players. What would be the reason for that?
Yeah, you can just see, you know, that's kind of like playing off a strong face, keeping his ball speed up there. 179 is above PGA Tour average, so he'd be longer than normal. That's a 293 carry. So he can pop it out there. And I think the guys have hit way more drivers than they thought this week. I mean, we've seen guys out there hitting tons of drivers, Joshy, right? So, I mean, it's like the thing with it is that could be a key club. And I think everyone came here thinking, well, when Tiger Woods didn't even use a driver. But that's not, that's the conditions, right?
It's just so soft out there this week.
It's way soft.
It's really soft.
It's way soft. I mean, you've got, even from quite far out, you might have 2 bounces, but then the 3rd bounce, the ball stops. So, be interesting to see.
I don't think it's going to get too much firmer. The conditions for the weekend, they don't look great. I'm just going to say
that. They do not. The weather's going to have a say. So there you go. That's Taylor Moore's fireworks show. That's the warm-up. So you can see he started with some wedges, worked through the bag, every single, like, gradually up and then gradually back down, and on the other side, top right there, we got our longest carry. So the amateur, how about this for a name? Jose Luis Ballester Barrio. How about that?
Perfect.
And then the amateur again, Christo Lamprecht.
For people who've not seen his swing, Simon Lamprecht, how would you describe his swing?
I mean, 6'8", taking a massive lash at the ball. If you can imagine, like, extremely long legs, long arms, everything long, right? Having a proper go at it, and it is the most extraordinary leg action. It's like for me, and not saying like you've got the clinical swings, right? Rory McIlroy, and then you've got sort of like, this would be like a Ted Ray swing in his jacket and his tweed cap and his tie, giving it a lash with a hickory driver. It looks like that, and it's amazing.
It's amazing.
And
to
sitting
watch.
at the top of the leaderboard, shooting 66 today, is our man, Christo.
That score is going to be hard to beat today. With, as you said, the severity of the pins, I mean, the next best score at the moment is 3 under par, but there might be a 65 out there today, but he's not going to be far away at the end of the day.
Oh no, he's had absolutely the dream start, no doubt at all. So let's have a look at Taylor Moore, sorry. Just going through the last few little clip shots. Glove off. Let's load her up. Find courtesy car.
Putting green, do you think, next?
I would say he's been putting first. He'll probably be back in again. Representing the Stevens group. Very close associations to the Masters. Put a huge amount of funds back into amateur golf, junior golf. It's a great group.
That's it, they're done. And they're off. So yeah, playing with John Daly and Danny Willett. That'll be a very entertaining group at 2:04 this afternoon.
Ah, with his back to us, with the shades, looking very, very trim indeed. Phil Mickelson.
Getting better with age, Phil.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have to say the performance that he put in to win the USPGA was astonishing.
It was. As long as I've been watching golf and working on golf, that is in my top 3 most astonishing wins I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I remember when he won in Muirfield, and we were sort of talking about all the things and all the talents, and we're like, he was one of the great talents. But I mean, I remember talking to Butch, and he was going, do you know what? He just doesn't have the discipline to win an Open, because it's like, there's just a shot you shouldn't try, but he can't help himself. So, flags zipping around a bit. Just going to give a little bit of challenge.
The crowd's going to have some good players heading to the range very soon. The afternoon group.
It's been very well put out, hasn't it? All sorts of talent. So the early players who are out there, Jordan Spieth, he's having a fantastic day. Tommy Fleetwood. So Di is down there. Di, who've you got?
Thanks very much, Simon. I've got Pete Finch, who was with me till the end of play, and also I think somebody's stumbling into shot. George Harper Jr. You made it in the car, George.
Hello, everyone. How are we?
Good to see you. Very good, thank you.
What a view you guys have got here. I've been listening and hearing all about it, but to see it in the flesh, how good?
It's very, very impressive. I really enjoyed your car journey, which I've never actually experienced over from the course. Who did you talk to?
Well, it was just a little bit of trickery, pretending I was
a
player.
Who did you kick out?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know what player I could pretend to be. Maybe Adrianus. He's got a luscious beard on over there at the moment.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great ride. Actually,
Good
quite
stuff.
easily, quite well organised. Yeah.
Tell us, you have been busy today, over the last few days. What's been the highlight for you so far this week?
It's been awesome. It's been such a cool experience to hoon around, talk to absolutely everyone I can.
Yeah.
So they've been really receptive, the players. They've been absolutely fantastic. So, I had a great chat with Ricky Fowler yesterday. Oh, it's hard not to look and smile at him. What a guy. An absolute sweetheart. And then we got 2 Ryder Cup captains yesterday as well, trying to lock horns. So, yeah, it's been a good few days. And then obviously Maddie Jordan's been a little wee success story with the locals as well.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah, it's been great. How about you guys? You guys have just got a great spot here.
Yeah, although I said, like, the first few days, the players have actually been a lot more relaxed than I thought they would be. They were really chatty. Like, we managed to get over to Rory the day he cancelled all his press conferences, and he wanted to talk to us.
Great.
Right, it was nice and friendly with us.
He couldn't really get away from us though when the microphone's there, but he was very polite.
Yeah, we cornered him in that bunker over there. Like,
he was very happy to. That was with
nice.
the pink blush trousers, which was a good look. But it's been it's been fantastic access down here on the range. And looking at some of the tee times, we were just Simon Holmes and Josh were talking about Taylor Moore. John Daly, he's teeing off with Taylor and Danny Willett as well at 2:04, which is in 25 minutes time. And John Daly, guys, has not been, as they were saying, has not been on the range. George, you've got to take your glasses off. We want to see those eyes. There we go. He tees off in 25 minutes time and he's not been at the range.
Yeah, well, that's classic John Daly, isn't it? He's getting on. We talked to him yesterday on the course and asked him how he's feeling, and he's just said, mate, I'm old now. I'm old. And he just looks like he couldn't care less. He's so relaxed, and the range is probably too far away from him. So he's like, no, bugger it. I don't need to warm up anymore. I've done this before.
I think his warm-up is about 6 cans of Diet Coke. All the carbonated beverages are available, but he would be just smashing those, walking to the first tee, giving it a smash, see what happens.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of playing around with John Daly at the Centurion Club many years ago. We were filming a feature, and I've never known anyone with a more relaxed demeanour than him. He had some amazing stories, which unfortunately I can't tell you on air, which I will tell you afterwards. But his game was just, he just rocked up to the ball. There was no practice, going straight out there, and there wasn't even a practice swing either. But winner, of course, of the Open Championship. It was a fairy tale story, wasn't it, when he won at St Andrews?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's one of those players who I think realistically, I don't think he believes he can win this week, but he's just rocking up and just having a good time. Like,
what story would that be if he makes the cut? It's a great story.
Yeah, I think that would be an amazing achievement, really, because, like, you know, he's obviously not been very well recently either. So it's just one of those weeks for a player like John.
Tell us about what's been going on with him health-wise.
He had cancer, yeah. So he's like on the, as far as I'm aware, he's on the road to recovery. Right. I wouldn't say he's maybe following the health advice of his doctor to aid that recovery, but that's John Daly, isn't it? That's why we love him. You know, he's a man into himself, a law unto himself, isn't he?
Does his own thing. We were saying earlier about personalities. We want the golf personalities, don't we? Yeah. And especially from the youngsters to come on through. Out of all the youngsters, the younger guys that you speak to, who stands out for you?
I don't know, I think there's that awesome new wave. Like, I think there's been a big difference this week not having Tiger here. Obviously it's a big difference no matter what, but I feel like all the attention has been on these new youngsters, and obviously Rory's now carrying that mantle, because Tiger does bring in a lot of distractions, and all good ones for me. Who doesn't like seeing a bit of Tiger Woods? But it's actually put on show everyone else, and I don't know, like the personalities you get with like the Minwoo Lees and all these young guys that have just turned pro, they've sort of grown up with the social media and how these new age things work and all the fun that we can have. So they're confident and they're keen to try new things, which has been so good to see.
And spreading the word of golf, which is fab. George, stay with us. We're going to go to a quick break and we'll be back. We will be back after this.
Doctors confirm golf is good for your physical and mental health.
Oh.
Beautiful day here on Thursday at Royal Liverpool. The range just getting a little bit busier. The afternoon groups just heading out to the practice facilities, prepping for their first round of this 151st Open Championship. The wind maybe picking up a little bit in the last hour or so, and some of those afternoon groups, Simon, they do look blockbuster. This guy is a bit blockbuster. If people have not seen much of Adrianaus, he can hit it. We were talking about Lamprecht earlier, hitting a long way. Yeah. Adrianaus hits it a long way. Maybe not with the control, maybe, of some players, but he's exciting to watch.
Oh, he's got a great action. Big, strong arms. Have a look at this. Driving iron.
Speed
oomphed. There. Yeah, it's oomphed. Same ball speed as Molinari's tee shots. That's not going to be good for Francesco. He's not going to enjoy that. But that is a good old clip, isn't it? Just a little 2-iron off the tee. The low one, the stinger, 67 feet of apex, drilled low, launched at 6. Really going to move forward. Big old broad shoulders.
Now he's teed this up, Simon, this 2-iron, if he's got it in. Is this just in prep, do you think, for a few holes?
Well, it's going to be interesting. Like, there's places you can use your power, but I do think that around the golf course, I suppose that some of the long hitters might say, listen, if I'm in the rough, but I'm 70 yards past the bunkers, like Christo did, right? I mean, Christo on 3 hit it 350, so he basically hit it through the fairway, over the out of bounds by 100 yards, right? And then chipped it to the back right flag and knocked it in. So, you know, there's all sorts of different ways. And so you could just ride the roulette wheel and you just go, you know what, I'm going to have a gamble at this. That'd be interesting to see. So little 3-wood. This will probably clip it around like a 173, 174 ball speed. 69, that's the launcher high. It's a soft one.
That works, Simon.
It's an amazing shot, isn't it? Goes through a lot of tees. I guess he just vaporizes them. So there, big shoulders, arms down in front, Justin Rose. The problem the power hitters have is that they just spin too early, right? Justin Rose, so trying to get the sequence. So power management.
He's only won once on DP World Tour, Simon. Do you think he maybe should have won more?
Yes. So there you go, 176 ball speed with his tee shots. I think, though, you know, if you've got that amount of power, you have to have the discipline to manage it. And so he probably has a go at stuff he shouldn't have just because he can, right? So that's the you get that kind of combination, don't you? It's like it's amazing for us to have a go at it, you know, and he'll take on the shot that no one else can do because he can do it, and that's a bit of fun. So you're probably not taking it super seriously. 172, just thinking about a tee shot. So that's that one. Okay. So we're on 14. I'm going to take it over that bunker, and I'm going to pitch it 265, and then it's just going to release out to the middle of the fairway. That's going to be that one. And so now, the first hole, what am I going to do on the first? Do I take it over the corner? Here we go. Loads it and pop.
So much power there in that swing.
Yeah, that's lost to the right. So that's the one where the arms get late. So the club is kind of pointing too much at us. The shaft is aimed right in the delivery, right of target line. That's not the one he wants. So
what do you think all these notes he's making, Simon?
just the carry numbers in today's conditions. So I think that just going through, or maybe just ticking off a couple of shots he wanted to hit. So there it is, bang. Kind of what he's trying to feel is to get those hands back in front. Those are some pretty fast hands. Bang. See the numbers. 75 with his 3-wood.
And he's riding it down again.
Yeah.
I've not seen a player do this too much, Simon, on the range.
It could be the menu of the stuff that he's got to pick up on his way home to the house this evening. Don't forget the Weetabix. Don't forget the milk.
I think he's doing a Sudoku. That's what I think.
The crossword.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that.
It's
What's it called? Wordle.
Yes, you do.
Okay. My children do Wordle.
Yeah, I do Wordle.
Do you?
I love it.
They're very quick at that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick, by the way, renowned now for noting every shot he hits, even on the range. He could be doing this, although he's writing an essay at the moment here, Adrianaus, but he could be doing something similar.
Yeah. We might just have a chat with him maybe later. So Phil Mickelson in the background.
He could be writing a novel as well.
Or Dear Santa. Could I
just have one open
this year for Christmas? Here we go. So, Adri, the notes are over. There. Left arm. Keep my left arm on my chest and rotate it. So, Brandon Grace. Imitating, I think, one of those cheerleaders who's out in front doing the baton, yeah. So just a little rotator cuff warm up. So a kaboom from Adri.
Is he going to write something here, Simon? Yes or no?
No, he's going to write there. Get me the driver.
Okay.
Here we go. Right, I'm going to go. What's his first ball speed going to be? Should we go for one? Let's go 183. We're going to 182. 182 ball speed. Kaboom. 85.
Tell you what.
That's a good first drive.
I mean, it's leaked, but
yeah,
he's top 20 on driving distance on the DP World Tour, Adrian House. He's extremely long, but you look at his accuracy, he's outside the top 150.
Yeah, I don't think he's not built for accuracy, is he? He is just giving it a thump. It's entertaining, takes all sorts. No one can catch the amateur so far.
He's one of those that on a week it just could all come together.
Yeah, yeah. You do sometimes throw double six, right? I mean that's how he's playing. So very interesting. So we'll leave the statistics, the power hitters up on the right side there. 330 carry. It's pretty good. So here we go. Let's have a look. So let's go 187.
Oh, Simon.
86.
You are dialed in.
Here we go. Kaboom. 305. Oh, 300.
Pretty consistent.
Spin was a little high there.
Consistent fade he's got going here as well.
Yeah, just when you're that strong, you want to sort of keep the ball, and so you can really see him fighting. So that he's looking for hand speed there. So from the top to the hips to the belt level is all hand speed. So you know Rory's got like 33 miles an hour of arm speed in that. So that's going to be, this is going to be very, very similar. So it's pretty quick arms. Watch them as they come down. Kaboom! You can't. So these are still quite low shots. His standard really high launcher is about probably 130 apex. I don't think he's going to bother hitting that. And now arms down. Don't spin. He's saying don't spin. Wait. 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 Maybe that's what he was writing down. Here we go. See if he gets it to 300 on the carry. Just a couple of cruisers now. These are kind of more like a fairway finder. Looking at his tracer, and I can tell you that in his mind, he's thinking, how did that amateur hit it 30, 40 yards past me? He goes, right, watch this. Watch this.
A lot of speed there. He's playing at 226.
Yeah, so here you go, a little bit motivated by the data that comes up on the thing.
Yeah.
187, 310, 303, okay, and hits the board. Look at that.
Perfect. Perfect. He plays 226 alongside Ewan Ferguson and former amateur world #1 Keita Nakajima as well, who is an outstanding player. If you've not seen the Japanese player before, you've seen him before, Simon.
Yeah, superb. Amazing scenes.
Brandon Grace as well.
We're seeing a lot of drives, aren't we? Guys hitting a lot of drives. I think they've recognised that that's probably one of the absolutely key clubs. Mickelson's got his driver going. Tony Finau of the elastic band body, he's got his.
He'll take a lot of drivers, I think, around
I think
here.
that's right, yeah. And he's got a nice flat flight as well, kind of like just chip it down. Look at the scenes there. So these are the guys warming up for their first round. We've also got some of the guys who've played their first round coming in to just fine-tune their games for round number 2. Conditions are pretty amazing. And somewhere down there is the lovely Di Stewart.
Thanks very much, Simon. Yeah, we're still down here and picking up some great storylines for you and some little nuggets of information. I am really happy to be joined by Brendan Lawler, champion victorious at the G4D Open this year. Brendan, great to have you with us. Should we do a little round of applause? Definitely deserved. It was a three-day event.
3 day, yeah.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was very good. It was the first Open for golfers with disability, so it was our first major. We've featured on the DP World quite a few times with the G4D Tour, but this had like its own image, and it was the very first major. So to be the first to do something that was special, and every player was going to go out and win it, so I was delighted to win and have a great week.
Oh, great. So, because I often see you in the commentary box as well.
Yeah, I'm doing a wee bit of commentary with Sky.
Great.
Really enjoy it. The guys are all lovely. It's and you play the course before you go in as well, so it's nice to have the knowledge of the course, and kind of create an image of in people's heads when they try and do it as well. So it's good. Yeah.
And the disability community, the G4 events like the G4D Open, really important. Tell us about the community and why this is so important.
Yeah, it's huge. Like we need a lot of players to keep this pushing forward. Yeah. It just doesn't happen with one or two, and we're trying to create the World Tour and make this bigger and make it financially beneficial for many more disability athletes. So we're definitely going in the right way. We're getting more people into it, and we just have to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, great. Impressive stuff, George.
Yeah, let's talk about the golf as well at Woburn. You were going head-to-head against Kip Popert, weren't you? What a battle that always is between the two of you.
He's got me a few times, so that one was a little bit sweeter than usual. But Kip's he's a fantastic player. He's unreal, and we get on very well. Me, him and Juan Postigo, probably three of the greatest friends on the tour. So
brilliant.
Kind of share houses and have food together. So we're rivals on the course, but when we're off the course, we share a beer and a glass of wine and stuff. So it's nice.
And being the first champion of the G4D Open, you get to design the trophy or help design the trophy. How unique is that opportunity?
Well, there was holes in the last one, so I couldn't fill it. So it was a nightmare.
What do you mean there were holes in the last one?
I tried to fill it and everything was spilling out the side. I was like, oh no. But
trying to put a Guinness in there.
Exactly, it didn't work. But it's exciting. It's something you never really thought you could do, is design something and call it your own. So to go out and try and defend that would be special.
Have you already made the design?
We had a few conversations this week.
Any little hints of what it might look like, apart from being solid?
A lot of people are telling me different stuff, so I don't know what to do. We're gonna. No, we're still in the honeymoon stage with it. So
we could put a little mark on it. We could give you some little.
A little four-leaf clover sort of popping in there.
Oh, that would be great.
No, there's plenty of ideas. I have a few that probably wouldn't work, so I have to be careful what I choose.
Just a little arrow, paw here.
But also, I guess the cool thing about being the first winner is you're the first name on the trophy. No one can take that away from you, can they?
100%. And I've been very lucky to create history in disability golf a few times. So to create history in anything is really special. And the beautiful thing about it is there's going to be so many opportunities to be the first to do stuff in this game because it's so fresh.
Yeah.
So if we can keep going, and if you can put your name on the top of the board, it's going to be a fun ride.
And let's talk about the championship as well. The RNA and the DP World Tour put on a big show for you, didn't they? Can you run us through the whole extremity of it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It felt like this here. We got there, all the signs were out. We were treated like royalty. You got your players' badges. Right. You were really treated as a proper player. And that's what we're trying to achieve. We're all normal people. It's all about inclusion, and the RNA and DP World made that event fully inclusive for every player there. It was great.
Great.
It's fantastic. It was an unbelievable quality as well.
Yeah.
Like the Golf on show, it really, again, added to that feeling of being a proper competitive event. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, and it added a different pressure because there was a lot of crowds there watching. We play on Mondays and Tuesdays on the DP World Tour where you don't get that buzz. There's not as many people there. So every shot mattered. You were thinking about it, you were more focused. So I think it's a huge step forward for the game.
And a real buzz here at the Open.
Unreal, yeah. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Very lucky that RNA invited me this week as the Open champion. So
great stuff.
I'm here for leisure and work this week, so like it's a wee bit of both.
Well, we're going to put you to work. You're not going to get away with it too lightly.
Exactly.
What's it like? You mentioned the proper golf shots and what it feels like, and that it felt like this. What's it like watching all the best in the world at their job here?
Yeah, like we've been very lucky to be beside Rory McIlroy, John RAHM, but it impresses you every time you see it.
Yeah.
Like the way they strike the ball, the sound, it's just whistling through the air.
Great.
And you can learn a lot from these guys too, especially mentality-wise. They're just solid as a rock mentality.
Yeah.
So you can learn a lot from them.
You say leisure, is that this afternoon? Colin Montgomery's gone off to the whiskey tent.
There was too much. There was plenty of leisure last night, so I think tonight can be a little bit of a break.
Really?
So we'll have to see what happens.
What happened last night, Brendan?
Me and my cousin, we just had a few drinks. And it was thought it'd be a quiet one, but things escalated pretty quickly.
They always start that way, don't they?
Oh, well, I'm glad you're having a great time here at the Open. Listen, thanks for sharing your time with us.
No, thanks very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to head down to, we're going to head up to commentary, and Tony Johnson is in the box with Simon Holmes. Tony.
Hello, Di. Hello, guys. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Tony.
My beloved old coach and great friend. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be amazing. We've sat on this. We've worked on these open driving ranges before, probably quite a long time ago. Now there, at 6'8", Tony is a South African amateur who's leading after day one.
Isn't it amazing? You know, I was lucky. It was good timing. I walked 3 holes with him yesterday, but I have to say, being vertically challenged, I felt like I was in a swimming pool talking to somebody who was out on the paving. I got a sore neck chatting to him. He's huge. And what a delightful young man.
Charming. How's that? How would you like to come in? Current British amateur champion. Amazing, isn't it? So you can see, like, really sort of a swing based around height. He was saying to us he had like an enormous growth spurt, right? And it took him a while to kind of get used to it and to sort of stabilize it. But let's take a closer look at his swing.
Well, Sam, you know, I was waiting for a great growth spurt at 14, and I've been waiting for 53 years. It hasn't happened yet.
I think you may get another.
Shall I give up?
No, I don't think so. Here we go. So just watch the knees. So see the level of the knees there, and now watch how they both drop into the ball. So I think that's just he's got used to that of trying to get down to it. But he can absolutely whoop it out there. So I mean, of all of the guys that we have seen this week, 202 ball speed with a driver is the fastest of all of them. He can hit it 350.
Oh, he was playing with Cam Smith yesterday in the practice round, and Cam Smith was hitting driver on a lot of holes and nailing it. And Cam's not short. And I promise you, on every single hole, he was between 40 and 50 yards past Cam Smith.
Yeah.
It was, I said to him, you know, do you want to ask these guys you're playing with to, you know, come up and join you and make a 3-ball, because they're not in the same group.
No.
It was unbelievable, son.
So here we go, worm Cam. So here we go. See, watch the knees on the ping on his bag. Watch the knees there, and now how much do they drop? Amazing, right?
You know the difficult thing, drivers are restricted to 46 inches in length now, and it looks like a toothpick in his hand. You know, I think when they brought that rule out, they probably didn't take into account the fact that we've got guys of 6'8" and 6'10" on tour.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good point. So. Worm Cam, just bringing you some shots, got a combination of, here we go, so watch the knees, there's the height, see on the sign there, and now watch them drop as you come through, and now, bang, they drop down, a lot, isn't it? It's a lot of loss of height, so knees typically in a golf swing kind of control your levels a lot, right? And so you're normally trying to sort of be pushing up through the ground. He's almost dropping down into it, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, you know, it controls your head height. You know, when he makes a practice swing with the driver, his head barely drops at all.
Yeah.
But then when he gives it a dig in real life,
I
mean, it drops
about
a foot. A foot, I would say, 10 inches to a foot. It's amazing.
Yeah. Were you a good links player?
I was actually, because I had a very low ball flight, which really did suit links play. And I loved links golf. I mean, I lived for links golf, except for the first couple of times I played links courses, because I thought that they were the worst aberration. I thought it was the worst thing I'd ever experienced in my life, coming from parkland South African courses.
Yeah.
And then the penny drops and you think, oh my goodness, this is sheer, unadulterated heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how 98% of tournament golf is played in the air and nothing on the ground anymore, right? And maybe we don't always get the best players because of that. It's a bit more one-dimensional. So we're going to go from that power package to a man who has discovered how you win. And that is going to be, if we go round to the left here, so we pan out, we've got some Justin Thomas action. Oh. Then we've got a bit of Victor Hovland. Now, Victor has been out, I think. Has he not? Victor has been out. Sung Jae Im. Sung Jae Im. Who are we going to find down there?
There's Tony. Far right side of the screen. Here we go. With that brisk, fairly wristy swing, and he can give it a dig too.
Yeah, I think it adds a little something, doesn't it? We would have been described, I think, as drab, probably, Tony, in our khaki and grey tops. But anyway, I think probably we would be kind of like, we'd go out of fashion, but then come back in every sort of 20 years.
Oh yes, never throw anything out the cupboard, Sam. It will come back in.
Yeah, exactly.
I've still got my bell bottoms from the 70s. I'm just waiting for them to come back.
That might be a while.
And the waist size has doubled, so I might just bin them now.
More than doubled. So
he's a breath of fresh air, isn't he?
He's a great player. I mean, he just like had such a tough time with putting, didn't he? Just like couldn't figure it out at all. Very interesting to see that once he kind of got it going, change of grip, change of attitude, a bit more aggressive, a bit more work on it. He said he spent way too much time practicing the things he was really good at and not enough time doing the thing he didn't like because he wasn't any good at it.
Yeah, a lot of guys do that, don't they? I mean, you know, my goal was always to try and put 2/3 of my time into short game and 1/3 into long game.
Were you a big club fiddler? Would you fiddle with your golf bag and change it all around to come for an open, or did you kind of keep the same stuff in there?
No, the only thing I would change really would be maybe my gap wedge. I'd like something with a little less bounce for firm linked turf.
Yeah, that's interesting. We've seen a lot of guys. So the US guys have kind of come in saying, listen, we like 10 degrees or 12 degrees of bounce, but they keep ricocheting around the tight lies around here. Now into sort of, you know, maybe 8 degrees of bounce. So same loft, 8 degrees of bounce. Just interesting to see some of the club combinations. And then another thing, Tony, like, you know, did you play an open here?
No, I didn't.
No.
No, I played the Merseyside Classic in 1980, where 6 over par 1.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think, you know, I think the guys came in here sort of in the chat the month before, and it was dry and it was warm, thinking it was going to be another Tiger Woods Open where they weren't going to hit tee shots, right? And it's not going to be like that at all. When you've been walking around, what did you notice in sort of the course setup?
Well, firstly, it is pristine. I have never seen an open venue in such immaculate condition. I mean, the fairways are literally, you can barely tell the difference between fairway and green where it intrudes into the green. Greens are wonderful. The greens are softer than they would have liked. Obviously, we've had a lot of rain and we're going to continue to have rain, so they can get a little spin. But particularly the first 8 holes, you know, it's very hard to run it into those greens. They've got a lot of slopes and things that feed the balls off into bunkers, and you know, with the soft greens they can avoid that.
Yeah.
And pitch it on the greens.
There's some mean pins today. Did you have a look at those?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that the tournament was sort of thinking that it was not going to be that bad weather, and they didn't want to let the scoring get away from them, so they put them around the edges. So Tony Finau, let's take a closer look at his swing. We saw him working on his sequence yesterday.
I'm always intrigued by the fact that they all have a TrackMan or equivalent, and you know, they read the launch angle and the spin of every single shot. I mean, what a bonus that is to be able to do, especially if you're going to play in the wind.
Yeah. So hands really, really close. I mean, this is, you would think that's a pitch shot, right? Because it's only sort of like, let's suppose it's like left arm. Oh, stop it. All rise. All rise. Because Rory McIlroy is on the course. He's on the range.
what a finish that was last week.
Oh, man.
You know,
well, I thought Bobby Mack had done it, right?
I thought he had it.
Absolutely unbelievable set of shots, right? What did he do? Bobby Mack, he bogeyed the par. What's 15's the par 5, isn't he? He bogeyed that.
16.
Yeah.
And then that 3-wood he hit out of the rough on 18 was just might be shot of the year. And I feel really sorry for him. It would have been a wonderful win. But the two shots he hit into 17 and 18.
The 17th is incredible.
It's put to bed the fact that people think Rory can't hit wind shots.
It's amazing you say that's what I was thinking. So there is always anticipation when Rory arrives at a major. You would never have thought when you saw him win by what was he leading for going he was leading by 6 going into the last day, maybe in 14 around this place. We were never thinking that would be the last time he was going to win a major. So let's see, Christo next to JT. Let's have a look at JT. He's got a nice action. Very, very high arm plane. So one of the guys who really hits it straight up in the air. That's something that's changed massively, isn't it? Do you remember? I mean, you probably had like a 70-foot apex with your driver. Now the guys hit it 120, and it's just a different ball, different game.
Yeah. It's all. I mean, it's almost double the height, and it's, you know, with every iron in the bag, they're 40, 50 yards longer than we were.
Yeah.
You know, 7-iron my whole life, I worked on 150. These guys are hitting at 190 to 200 plus.
Yeah. I mean, do you think, you know, you were probably through the period where you had persimmon drivers, right? Persimmon drivers tour below the 90s, right? And so your generation, once the Titleist Professional came on, or at least the hard ball and the wooden drivers, how many? I mean, you probably spent so much time trying to get your bag organised. It was a big change in those days.
It was indeed, and it was a big change from, you know, calm inland conditions to links golf. You know, you had to be able to work your ball, work the flight, change the trajectory with a Belata, which was a different ball game. You know, a lot of these guys don't really think about changing the flight too much because the modern ball spins less and cuts through the wind and moves a lot less on the wind.
So Finau and JT, probably Finau is just hitting his 56-degree wedge easy. Justin Thomas probably is hitting his 7-iron. JT is sending another one down there, lower, apex 70. So that's probably, I would say that is half, no, that is 60 feet less than his normal. I'd say his normal is like 125 to 130 feet with his 7-iron. So Justin Thomas is looking for form. He sends another one down there. Just putting a little extra heat on that. Still working the low one. So let's have a look at Justin Thomas's swing. Arms really hang down very low, quite close to him. We saw Patrick Cantley earlier. His arms really hung out and away from him. So watch these hands work up above his head, high. You can see how much of that left arm you can see.
I like seeing the apexes. You know, if you do this on a normal week on an inland course in American flat conditions, they'll hit the 7-iron and the apex will probably vary by 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah.
But it's quite fun watching it. You know, they go 130 feet, then 80 feet, and they're preparing themselves for what is to come. You know, turn around into the wind, go downwind. You've got to have the whole arsenal.
Yeah, you do. So JT picked up that major in pretty good form against Zalatoris, USPGA Southern Hills. That was a difficult golf course. And then quite cold, Tony. And when the putter goes cold, I don't know, did your putter ever go cold?
Ask that of the 100 putters that have got a foot of shaft left in the head.
It was a slightly leaned question. I did witness sort of, what are you guys looking for in the trees? Is it birds? No, it's Tony's ping putter. So
I was very hot and cold.
Very hot.
Very hot and very cold, yeah.
So, so Justin Thomas has gone to a big grip change, right? He's gone for a left-hand high, left-hand low. So interesting to see from left-hand high to left-hand low. That's a big change in the middle of the season.
It's massive. You know, I always thought he looked very comfortable with an orthodox putting grip, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, you know, if your putting goes off, yes, of course, you're going to start searching for cures and something that works. I mean,
what do you think the thing that goes off? Is it the pace first, or you miss the strike, or?
I think it's a variety of things. You know, you can get a little hiccup in your stroke. I think it all, and then it's confidence. But I also think it's to do with eyesight in a lot of cases. You know, I think guys' eyes change. You know, I had a very good friend, an eye specialist, who said you get around the 45 mark, which he's not yet, and your eyes do change. And your ability to read greens changes. Some guys have the gift. You know, Mark McNulty had the best, I mean, literally Superman vision. He could read the classifieds across the room in a newspaper, and I'm not kidding you. And I could just about read the headlines on the front page.
Yeah.
And that is a gift, but the eyes do change.
So Victor Hovland, interesting to see. He will have high hopes. He was out there yesterday in the afternoon. He's off at 2:48. So JT, Tony Finau and Victor Hovland, that's a very nice group to go and watch. 2:48, flick-flock in between him and Rory McIlroy, and enjoy your afternoon with that. So Hovland, Finau, Thomas at 2:48, 2:59, McIlroy, Rahm, Rose, and then Morikawa, Homer, and Tyrrell Hatton. Enjoy your afternoon. Now with us somewhere is George Harper Jr. George, where are you, mate?
Well, I've actually found myself with the punters. I'm right up the back of the stand in the driving range. What a great seat. A seriously good view back here, guys. Plenty of sun. I'm seeing a lot of burnt noses from the locals. Not used to the big bright sun, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't long ago I said there's no Tiger Woods at the event and it feels different, but Rory McIlroy strutting onto the driving range felt exactly like the old Tiger. He is in the zone. He didn't look at anyone. He was dialed in. He just had this stern look on his face. Stoic. Wow. Goosebumps.
Interesting. Hey, look at that. None of the players have gone next to him. That's the respect. They recognise that he wants the space and they've given to him. That's interesting. That's from his fellow competitors.
And he's a renowned pickpocket. But, you know, you're so right there. You know, Ernie Els was the opposite. Everybody wanted to practice next to Ernie Els in the hope that some of that rhythm would rub off. But, yeah, I mean, Rory's chosen the very end of the range on purpose, hasn't he? He just wants a bit of peace and quiet so he can focus.
Yeah, and his fellow competitors are respecting it. It's interesting. So,
yeah, boys. The
George,
range
what have you got?
Completely changed formation. Everyone sitting on the left side of this range stood up and almost sprinted to the right edge of this grandstand, and then even behind him, as I'm sure you can see, the gallery is taking over that corner of the range. So he was waving his wand.
George, he glides onto the tee, doesn't he? He just glides on.
Oh, yeah. You know how Rory has that little sort of hop in his step when he strides down a fairway? Little sort of chirpy Rory, feeling good. Today it was a certain stride. It's so meaningful, and the glare in his eye. There was a lot of people with goosebumps.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of hopes out with him. So the question is, does Rory Magic work this week? Is this a good course for him? You would think, right?
Yeah.
Driver's golf course, you'd think that's a good thing for him. If it's got to be down, if it comes down to the driver, I mean, that's where I think he wins the most. When he can bully the golf course with his driver, it makes him feel his advantage, and he can push through it, and he likes that, and it, you know, hits a good drive.
And we saw that this morning with Christo Lamprecht, the amateur. You know, he can take most of the fairway bunkers out of play. Just crush it down there and be going in with a shortish iron. And, you know, when his timing's on, he is very straight, McIlroy. And do you think he gets another major under his belt and he just takes off like a rocket again. So
I would hope so. I think that perhaps in the like if you think about what's happened in the world of golf between the Open at St Andrews and this Open, it's been a lot, right? And so Rory McIlroy has probably really taken a very strong stance on some of the things that have happened, and you have to think that that took a lot of the energy and maybe a bit of the distraction, and maybe he made it want him too much. Thinking back to Dubai when he took down Patrick Reed, that meant a lot to him, right? And so, you know, maybe we see a Rory McIlroy who feels as though, oh, you know what, I don't have to think about that anymore. That, you know, that's out of my realm now, and it's now going to be all about me and my golf ball. Maybe this is a turning thing. George, any thoughts from up there?
Yeah, I love that, Simon. Like, it's just time for him to let the golf do the talking. He's just a man on a mission here, and I can't wait to see it. And as always, how important is this first round of golf? Most majors where he's being let down, it's with the opening round not quite being where he wants it. So you get this nervous weight about what Rory are we getting today. So I'm very interested to see. This first round is absolutely vital for Rory McIlroy.
You've been out there, George, pretty much all day outside. Any change in the wind, any change in the direction or the strength? Do you think there's any advantage? I mean, he's going to be off at 3. The first guy's teed off at 6:30. Any change that you can pick up?
Well, since I've been over at the range, I almost reckon there's a little false wind down here because it's surrounded by trees. So it's obviously more parkland on the driving range than links. So I'm interested because Rory's gone to that right-hand side and he's actually angling on all down the left side of this range, which means the wind's coming in quite almost behind and from the right, which I don't think will be a familiar wind on this golf course, which could, I don't know, could provide a few elements, but I guess it makes your range session feel good when there's a bit of wind over your right shoulder and makes it feel like you're flushing it even more, doesn't
Especially
it?
if you're a drawer, I think that helps. So
exactly.
It's
this
interesting.
wind is just all for the draw, and I don't know, hopefully by 3 p.m. or even 4:35 on that back nine, the wind almost dies down and you might have a docile evening.
Yeah. Let's see if the golfing gods cooperate.
George, if I'd said to you in 2014, that's the last major McIlroy's going to win for 9 years, you would have said, you know, I suspected you were an idiot and now I know you're an idiot. I mean, it's hard to believe that, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy. Like, every time you think about Rory and how good he is and that he's always the best in the world when he's playing his best. That's, you know, a quote that we've heard so much from everyone in the game. But now that we're here at Royal Liverpool and we're going, oh, Rory was the last champion here, that is mind-blowing to think that 2014 was his last major. He was top of the pops. I remember saying as soon as he becomes world #1, he's not going to let it go, but I don't know, it's a funny game and there's just so many more golfers that are competing at the best. There's so much more talent out there also. So yeah, it's those little tiny details, and unfortunately for Rory, it's been a long, long wait.
Let's have a closer look at his dashboard there up the right side. This might just be his 52-degree wedge, and you can see just a little higher apex, maybe just playing with that. McIlroy, the bounce in the step.
It's such a fairy tale story, isn't it? If this was to go as planned for Rory McIlroy, what a roundabout tale this would be. But I learned the hard way from St Andrews that fairy tales don't always happen.
That is true. So I think that broke a lot of hearts. It was credit to Cameron Smith, though. My goodness, he was just amazing. Won with his putter. Rory McIlroy lost with his putter. We're hoping that's not going to be the case again. So McIlroy, let's have a look at his swing here.
So it's pretty clear to see from up here. The range is now humming once again. All the stars, all the feature groups are getting ready for a big afternoon, a late afternoon of golf at the Open. It keeps going. It's a long day, but a very exciting one. We're going to enjoy the sun for a bit longer, and we're going to enjoy Rory McIlroy going through the paces. We'll be right back. We'll see you after the break.
Origins Premium Experiences at the Open. The ultimate way to experience golf's original championship. Enjoy unparalleled on-course views as the world's best golfers take on the challenge of the links. With over 10 hours of world-class action, mouth-watering food and complimentary drinks, guests can soak up the nail-biting atmosphere like never before. And watch history in the making. Whether you're looking for the ultimate client experience or a memorable day with a group of friends, Origins offers a variety of fully inclusive premium experiences that cater to every taste and budget. Don't miss your chance to guarantee your place and the experience of a lifetime.
Amazing scene as the gallery has arrived, and they have arrived to see one man warm up, their hero, and that is Rory McIlroy, who is just clipping a few shots away. Off at 2:59. Going to have John RAHM, who has arrived, and Justin Rose, who has just arrived for company. Is that a good group? Does it matter your group? Does he want to play with John RAHM?
You know, I think you wanted to play with the best players, because you know I think it does bring the best out in you. You know, I think you just see the draw, and you know, there are very few guys out there that you don't like. There's never much fun when you get a guy who you don't get on with. You think, oh no, you know, you got the odd player that was always moving, or you know, just an irritant. But generally speaking, the guys are all very courteous, and you just get on with it.
Yeah. So McIlroy, Michael Bannon in the glasses behind him, Harry Diamond, the team. So McIlroy has been working really on the right arm position on top. So the mistake is that the right arm separates a bit from the left arm, gets a little bit in deep and behind, and too low a hand position. So when Rory hits the afterburners with his legs and the club's shallow and the arms fall in behind, they fall in from too low a place. So what happens is they drop underneath the plane and Rory gets stuck and he loses the ball right. His body doesn't square the face up. So we've seen him really working on the sequence between the chest and the arms. That right arm to stay a bit more in front, so that elbow, right elbow doesn't get deep. And some more sawn off finishes. So Rory just clipping a few away. That's a low one, 88. Anything in 90 feet is a low one for Rory. So 196, hard to see. Is that a little punch? 7 iron perhaps? That's a little too long a shot for a 7 iron. What do you think? 6 iron?
Hard to tell with Rory, isn't it? You know, when he wants to, he can hit a 7 iron 220 if he really wants to.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell, but yeah, I would say, yeah, maybe, what do you think, length of club-wise? Maybe a 6.
Yeah, so here we go. Rory McIlroy, in flow, in command, and in balance, launched. Watch the apex on this. That's the traditional apex, 130 feet. High and soft and anything you want, and that looks good to me. So we've got some other superstars on the driving range. Let's see if we can find them. Here we go. Scott Stallings, big strong American player. Here we go. I was going to say it was Jason Day. Jason Day, Colin Morikawa. He's an amazing player, Colin Morikawa. The fade is back, a little bit more chirpy. The smile is back. Aha. Pablo. Guys have been out. Let's have a look. Body. There we go. Victor Hovland and Joe Mayo, Trackman Maestro. Nick Taylor, who provided amazing scenes in Canada. If you want to have a highlight roll, you want to do an eagle putt. So, the tall Swede, Henrik Stenson. Here we go. Jordan Smith, flusher extraordinaire. Done so well. He's been out there. Harris English. And with Dave Phillips coaching him from Titleist TPI. Oh, two really good swings. John Rahm and Justin Rose. Will Justin Rose make the Ryder Cup team? Tony Johnson will Tony John Willie. Justin Rose ripping it.
He'd be a good addition to the team. We need a bit of experience on that squad.
I just think the Ryder Cup is so difficult, right? Oh, look at this. Look at that. That is beautiful. Top tracer. Now we have a guy who's like a graphic designer, and I can tell you that Fred is, look at that, that is beautiful. Like, that's a Picasso, and we would just like to say hello to Fred's mum, who's out there watching. Karen, mother of Fred the Amazing. You should be very proud, Karen. He's such a lovely chap, and look at that. Dear oh dear. So, Justin Rose working on some sequence drills. Structure and sequence. Justin Rose, the shirt out, the shirt back in. So, we were talking earlier to Tim Henman, the amazing tennis player that is Tim Henman, an amazing golfer, and he is good pals to Justin Rose. Yeah, and I think that Tim Henman fancies Justin Rose's chances. So Justin Rose, a little bit of left shirt connected to left arm. Just a reminder to keep that connected, so not to have the left arm leak away from you in the downswing. So what you don't want to have is your arms go down the target line and your body go left. Everything's got to keep going sort of like in concentric circles. So for Rose, all about, I think, the sequencing during transition. That's what I see in Rose's swing. When it's good, the arms and shoulders link up better. When it's not good, the chest maybe spins out a hair too early and the arms disconnect. So come on, Rosie. 259. He's a big-time golfer.
He'll be playing a bit of golf with Tim Henman. They're both members at Sunningdale. Rosie's become a member there.
Yeah, Henman's a dangerous person to play golf with. I've had that experience many times, and he's very smiley to start and very chatty. And you get out there and you end up losing 50 quid, like, and you go, well, wait a second, no, because I get a shot here. And you go, well, how do you get a shot there? You play more golf than a tour player. No, I always get a shot here. So it's very hard. It's Henman rules. It's very difficult. No, Henman and Brian O'Driscoll creating magic in the HSBC zone. If you've got children and you want them to enjoy a bit of golf, send them down to Henman and O'Driscoll. Well worth doing. So HSBC doing tons and tons for the development of the game, and also the development of young people. So you have to take your hats off to all of those guys, in conjunction with the RNA, who are the steward of the game, an amazing steward of the game. So Rose, he's won a US Open at Merion. Just looking at the shoulder plane there, and now don't spin out. Jon Rahm in dark, in camo. It means business. Very, very powerful swing.
Oh, how strong is he, Simon?
What I love about Rahm, it's not like Rahm sort of looks at the hole, and here we go. So Rahm and Rosie. Rosie in 3-wood mode, launching it. Look at that, very, very straight. Rahm working 132 ball speed. That's probably a 7-iron. That's probably, yeah, that's probably a 7-iron. 103 feet apex. So the apexes are all like, it's amazing. Like you hit a 9-iron. If it's your swing, you hit a 9-iron and a driver at the same apex. Jon Rahm's swing, Tony, built for the wind.
Absolutely made for the wind, and I think made for longevity. You know, as guys get older, their swings get shorter. He started short, and you know, I mean, watch the backswing, restricted and massive speed through impact. And yeah, I think it's, you know, if it does blow a hoolie, which we're not expecting this week, his swing will stand up. There's so much less that can go wrong.
Yeah, I also like the fact that, you know, Jon Rahm plays golf where he might go low fade down one, high draw up two, high fade up the next one, low draw down the next one. He's always hitting the shot he needs. It's like there's a shot maker. It's not like a Morikawa who's going, I'm a fader, I'm a fader. Hovland, I'm a fader, I'm a fader, I'm a fader, and then he's trying to fit his game in. So Rahm is an artist. Spanish hands.
Yeah, and you need all the shapes around here. You know, the holes run in different directions with the different winds. Some holes favour a draw off the tee, some a fade. So it is a huge advantage if you're happy, equally happy moving it left to right and the other way. Big advantage.
Jon Rahm. Big time, and now he has won a Masters, and that was what he wanted as a Spaniard on Seve's birthday. This was a place where Seve played his final Open in 2014. I think he missed the cut by 1. He fought so hard, Seve, and so sadly missed. Send all our love from everyone at the Open to Seve Ballesteros. He really was, I think, Tony, the heartbeat of European golf, certainly heartbeat of European Ryder Cup golf. Gave every European like the respect to look the Americans in the eye and not feel intimidated.
Yeah, no, I mean, the most naturally gifted golfer I think that's ever lived, Seve. And man, you're right, do we miss him? I played a lot with Seve in the 80s and 90s, and you know, you always felt like the guy that was going to wash somebody's Rolls Royce. He's got the Rolls Royce and I'm just cleaning it. Yeah. He was just in a different league, short game wise. I mean, I had a good short game, but I was like a complete numpty next to him. It was sheer, unadulterated genius.
Talent in a very charismatic package, and sad.
Yeah, gone much too soon.
Yeah, so Jon Rahm, Spain's new superstar golfer. It's important to have a really good Spanish golfer. They've always added so much.
And he's scared of nothing and no one, is he, Simon? He will stand up to anybody down the stretch and he'll look at them and think, I'm going to have you.
Yeah, I think him and Koepka, they've got the walk, they've backed that up, they're mean. I remember seeing, I was doing an event for the Spanish Golf Union when Jon Rahm was still an amateur, and I think he had just played at Congressional and was on the boards as an amateur, and he was doing this talk and he said, so this is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to have 6 or 7 starts as a pro. If I can win 2 events, I hope I can get in the Ryder Cup. So his ambition, is like, that was what he was telling himself was going to happen. It was possible for him. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just confidence. That is, no, listen, don't worry about a thing. I'll probably be on the Ryder Cup. So, amazing belief. It's where you imagine yourself. That's important, isn't it? If you can't imagine yourself walking down 18 as the champion, it's not going to happen.
No.
So, Rahm, getting ready, day 1, 151st Open at Royal Liverpool, an amazing track. really great links golf course in perfect condition. The wind has not really moved around during the day, so there's no real advantage to morning and afternoon times as we've seen. But in the evenings when we've been here this week, the wind has dropped. So the afternoon starters may have an advantage. So short and sharp and fast and rotated and singing a song to whatever he's got in his iPods. What music would you listen to, Tony?
On the range?
Before you were going?
Never.
Never, no.
Never. No, I mean, it was just, you know, basically, if we were going to listen to music on the range, we would have had 2 headphones, you know, the size of dustbins on each ear.
Yeah. yeah.
But it just wasn't a thing that was really done. You know, I always sort of felt that I wanted to hear the sound of the strike.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was talking to Fowler, and he was like, I played off the strike. Well, if John Rahm was aiming at the 250 board, he's just gone straight through the middle of it, so that's encouraging.
I remember once Tony used to get quite irritated with crowd noise, and he went out the one tournament one year. He decided he was going to play with earbuds in, cotton wool in his ears. And he tried it for a couple of holes, and it was catastrophic because he couldn't hear the strike. No. He mistimed it, he mishit it, and he thought, no, I'll give that a miss.
Yeah, the sound. So, John Rahm knocks over. What is that? Rory McIlroy has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. Rory McIlroy has left to go back to the putting green via a courtesy car. Mike Bannon follows him. Faithful coach, long-time friend. Is that the walk? Is that the bounce, Tony?
That's the walk. That's the walk of a man. I proved it to everybody last week. I'm ready. And I think I might just have another little claret jug miniature on my mantelpiece after this week. Why wouldn't you have the belief? I mean, particularly that finish last week. It was utterly sensational.
Scenes of the chipping green as well. Amazing undulations, Tony, and that's a little bit what the golf course looks like. Quite flat greens, but once you come off the flat greens, which are little pop-up greens, there's a lot of runoffs.
Yeah, you're going to need such a variety of shots, aren't you? And if you think you're going to just be wandering around there playing around shots around these greens with a lob wedge, forget it. You've got no chance. And you'll see guys around the chipping green playing little bump and runs with a 9-iron and 8-iron, maybe even a little chip and run with a 6-iron up a little tier. Links golf, and particularly these raised greens, as you said, Simon, they ask a lot of questions of, you know, how you visualize the shots and your ability.
Yeah, you've got to really strike them very well. It is like it's an extending part of the putting green. It's not a rough. The ball is sitting on the ground. There you've got someone putting it from off the green just to see the pace. You can't really bounce a ball into the bank. You've got to. The banks are so steep, the ball will stop. So. Look at the bunker face there. So another part of our technology this is it, worm cam. So tiny bit of wind change there. They're not, it's a little bit more down and off the right now, so the wind is moving around. There is a tidal system and it will impact that. It's a great view, isn't it, all day long. And the reason the grandstands look empty is because Rory McIlroy has left. He has left and he's gone to the first, and everyone has gone with him. Tony.
They have indeed. I was just thinking, can you imagine Mark Rowe in his day? He would have been fizzing low one irons trying to take this camera out. The worst practical joker of all time. Doesn't matter if the machine's worth, you know, 200,000 pounds. No, I want to hit it.
But fortunately, I think Mark Rowe has really grown as a person and is no longer that person. He's really a respected sort of pillar of the community here at Sky's team, and so probably that's a false representation by Tony Johnson. So apologies to the Mark Rowe fans.
He was always a naughty boy.
I didn't know.
Simon,
I didn't know. Yeah.
The technology is just.
Tyrell. So Tyrrell Hatton, are you going to take the jump to the next step? Iona Stephen, I think, just in the background. She will be following that group, so she will be your on-course commentator for the Morikawa, Homer and Hatton combo at 3:10. That's going to be amazing. So Tyrrell played yesterday with Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry, and you would have thought by the 40,000 people watching them that it was the final of the competition. It was just a practice round. It was the most amazing scenes we've had here. So here we go. Earth and sun, and in the middle Tyrrell. Tyrrell can burn like the sun. Tony, do you think this is a good course for his temperament?
You know what? I don't mind the fact that he sizzles. You know, some guys use it to motivate themselves. You know, the secret is to let off some steam, have an explosion, and then be settled by the next shot. I think that's fine. Some guys just can't contain it.
No, I'm not going to ask you about your own experiences in that, because I don't think it's fair. So here we go. Oh, I think that is the Irish amateur Alex. Oh no, Alex, what's your last name? We met your dad. You're an amazing player. Alex Maguire, is that possible? Alex Maguire. And his caddy is like it's not his twin, but they look identical. So Alex shot 1 over today. Went out with Schwartzel, who shot 6 over, and Hoshino, who shot 4 over. So Alex Maguire did really, really well. Very good first day. Can be proud of that. Debut amateur, first open. Pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think it. He looks pretty relaxed, but I'm sure on the first tee, his heart rate would have been fairly elevated, and that's a great effort.
Yeah, it is. So it's a par 70. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Look at that. Dad, I love you. You're amazing. How about that?
Nothing will calm the nerves quicker than that, will it? Beautiful
Amazing.
scenes.
So we have got George there. George, where are you, mate?
I am witnessing all-time cuteness. There's little Poppy. Absolutely awesome stuff before you round. His wife Erica, very good friend Maggie. The whole squad, there's Sean, his manager. This is just a perfect little hello before you tee off. He was so in the zone, and then this is just the perfect little hello, goodbye before he tees off. And then look at it as well, Jordan Spieth coming in for a bit of the mix. He's played pretty well, hasn't he? Coming to show off to Rory. Oh, wholesome content for you all at home right here.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just wonderful? Well, that would have just calmed.
Away he goes for a putt.
Yeah, that would have just settled him a bit, won't it? George just calmed the nerves, because even if he is, you know, the other players say he's the best in the world, You know, there's a lot of weight on his shoulders, and that would have been a wonderful moment for him.
Yeah, that would have been so special. It was a nice little surprise. The family didn't know he was coming. He was trying to grab their attention, but it took a while. But yeah, I said he was in the absolute zone over on the range, and that would have just been that nice loosener, that nice familiar faces that he would have loved to have seen.
And a reminder that no matter what happens out there, when you come off the 18th, they still love you. They still love you, whether you have a great day or a poor day. It's important, but it's not life and death.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nice to see some player interaction as well with Jordan Spieth and everyone there. But once again, it's nice to be back on the side of the golf course. The energy levels have picked up, no doubt about it. Whew. We'll be with you again shortly when Rory walks to the first.
Yeah, George, there's a lot of energy for Rory McIlroy. We head back to the driving range. Some of the guys have finished their round and just putting some final touches on whatever they felt they didn't do well enough. Tony, did you practice after a good day like that?
Not very much, no. You know, I sort of waited for the good days. I didn't want to lose it on the range afterwards.
So, Tyrrell Hatton.
You might on a calmish day like today, Simon, but on a windy day, if you had a good day, you just headed back to the hotel, didn't you?
Oh, I just think the different winds. I think a right to left wind on the range means a lot more people come and have a go, and a left to right winds means they've been absolutely deserted. So, Tyrrell Hatton 310. Homer and Morikawa. That's a good group again, isn't it? Like a nice little afternoon group. So, Tyrrell, ball striker. Right, definitely good iron player. Homer, same. Mark Blackburn coaches Max Homer. Been working hard on steepening the shoulder plane and flattening the R plane. So, work in progress.
You know, you used to say that sort of stuff to me when you were coaching me. I still haven't got a clue what you're talking about. You know, and you had to keep it simple for me, didn't you?
People learn at different speeds, Tony. I don't think that it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't. People get it at different. Some people get it faster. Some people slower.
Some people never.
And some people never. Yes. Anyway, we had fun.
We sure did.
Right, Homer. Little baby fader. Playing away from the draw. Changed his ball flight as a pro a couple of years ago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, trying to get the draw out of the bag for the driver because he'd have the wides with it. So just trying to keep the speed up. So 72. That's probably 75, like a right around PGA Tour average there. Homer, plenty of power. Mark Blackburn in the shades behind him. That's his coach. Chomping on the gun. Wormcam showing amazing pictures of the driving range. It's got another lease of life. An hour ago it was pretty quiet, but now so good news for Tommy Fleetwood fans. Tommy Fleetwood, local hero, potential local superstar, has opened his account with a 66. How good's that going to feel?
Oh, it's going to feel like heaven, isn't it? Tell you what, it would have been much appreciated by the local fans too.
Yeah.
Because Tommy's, I mean, he's popular wherever he goes with good reason, because what you see is what you get with Tommy. He is the calm person you see on the golf course. And on his home patch, wow, that's brilliant.
Great back nine. Amazing. Birdies on 11, 14, 15, 16. Going to be really interesting to see what that means to the rest of the tournament. But it's getting to be quite a nice leaderboard already, isn't it? Jordan Spieth is right there. Wyndham Clark is up there already. Patrick Reed, Peters, Cantlay, Koepka, Hideki Matsuyama, Scheffler, they're just kind of getting started. No, Scheffler's finished. He shot 1 under. That's good. Ricky Fowler fans will be pleased to know Ricky Fowler's 1 under. So, Team Homer heads to the courtesy cars, and then to the putting green, and then to the first tee. A man who feels he's had a good day. That is going to be Jordan Spieth. 2 under par. Tony, that's a very, very sweet first day, isn't it?
That's what you need. You know, we all know you don't win it on the first day. You want to get yourself into position, have a good solid first round, and work from there. And we all know how capable Jordan Spieth is. And yeah, I think he'll walk off there pretty happy with that today.
Yeah, and he's also one of those players who once he's got a bit of a pep in his step, etc. So let's find George Harper, who must have some news for us of Rory McIlroy and where he is.
Yes, well, earlier we saw a very wholesome Rory McIlroy with the family, but now you're going to see him in the zone. He's in the mix zone, and look, here he goes, striding towards this first tee. This walk takes about 57 seconds from stairs to first tee, so you'll get a delayed eruption here. Here's the man of the moment.
Metal
Rory
spikes.
McIlroy. Harry on the back.
Don't often hear that.
Silence around him. Very poignant moment.
George, he's exuding confidence, I think. I don't think I played in 16 Opens, and I never, ever looked that relaxed walking to the first tee, no matter how well I was playing. Just amazing, isn't it?
It is so special, and the aura he provides out here. Listen to him walking over the stairwell.
He'll take energy from that. That's important for Rory McIlroy. He's one of those guys who feeds off that. There's a 15th club out of there, and that is the gallery, and he works that. He wants them to come with him. He embraces that. I think that's a part of his personality.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, it's quite nice too when you walk into the first tee and people are cheering you on and appreciating you.
Yeah, and he deserves that.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I mentioned earlier in the week a player walking along the horizon is such a cool image, and that is what it's all about, walking above the fans, and all you can see is the bobbing head of everyone's favourite this week, Rory McIlroy. He turns this tournament on its head. Now's the moment. Can he go out there and get it done? This first round is so important. You're about to hear him enter the cauldron, the mini Coliseum here on the first. This is going to be good. We can just sort of hold off a minute.
Keep your sound turned up, George.
What was that?
Keep your sound turned up.
We'll crank it up. We can hear this roar soon. What did I say, 54 seconds? On cue. Woohoo! Well, it's fair to say this Open Championship's probably about to really kick off.
Well,
wow,
that was
so cool, right?
A beautiful picture George painted us, and he was spot on. How was that applause on the first tee?
No, that's even just walking out. He hasn't even been announced.
That's just
coming out through the runway.
Wow.
Rory McIlroy. I think Rory McIlroy intimidates. I think he has got an intimidation factor. Jon Rahm's got an intimidation factor. Justin Rose, a little bit more under the radar type of a guy, but an amazingly good player, Justin Rose.
Yeah, Justin's a bit more like Tommy Fleetwood, isn't he? Just goes along quietly, does his thing.
Yeah, I like the way he operates. So, driving range, some superstars arriving.
I've still got goose pimples from that cheer on the first tee, Simon.
Yeah,
wow, what an atmosphere.
It's fantastic. You kind of got your afternoon wave of superstars just about going out. So Hovland, Finau and Thomas have just gone. McIlroy, Rahm and Rose are going. Morikawa, Homer and Tyrrell Hatton are following them. Absolutely amazing. How's that for 3-3 balls?
Oh, man. Nacho Vera, he's off at 332, finding some good form of late.
Look at these hands. Good player, tall, fast.
Simon, it's definitely the Tiger factor, isn't it? You know, Jack Nicklaus used the interlock grip, and then we barely didn't see anybody until Tiger came along. I'd say 80% of the young players these days use the interlock. It has to be from Tiger.
Yeah, that's right. And it's interesting, I mean, it can be quite a tension builder. If you get that interlock dug in too deep, like too deeper interlock. It's that you need a light interlock so you don't build a tension there. So you don't want to have it too dug in.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
You know, I often wondered. I tried the interlock a couple of times over the years on the range, and honestly, it felt like I was trying to strangle a black mamba. It was horrendous. I couldn't make contact.
No, I think that having your hands on the club used to be kind of like a work of art. Like if you think about how Seve put his hands on, but now Spieth's grip looks shaky, right? Morikawa's is shaky. I think the guys hit it so hard. It's just a case of, listen, just hang on to the
Hold
club
on
and,
tight.
Yeah, hold on tight and make sure it doesn't come out. No one swings like Ernie Els anymore. So Nacho just clipping a few away. So Nacho earlier during the week went over to the Sky Open Zone where he talked with Henny.
I'm very happy to be joined here in the Open Zone by Nacho Elvira, ready and raring to take on our all-club challenge, which I'm going to say should be an easier challenge than the 6-hole playoff that you just competed in.
Oh, definitely. I hope it's not as exhausting as that was.
No, it's going to be nice and easy for you. So we're going to get you to pick either the club or the distance first.
Let's go with club first.
All right.
Yep. All right.
A lob,
Okay.
a lob wedge.
Lob wedge.
And let's see how far now you have to hit your lob wedge.
Let's hope it's not 200 yards. Uh-oh. 140 yards.
Okay, so because I know that you're a big, strong golfer, however, I feel like that's a little out of range.
It is a little bit, yeah.
You have the option of hitting a hickory club,
okay.
140.
All right, any hickory club.
We have any hickory club. We have a whole range here for you in a different number of degrees. We even have a 1-iron. They're from the 1930s.
Oof. This is not going to break, is it, huh?
No. Swing smooth.
All right, let's try 6-iron.
Yeah. Okay. Have you hit a hickory club before?
I don't think I ever hit a hickory club before.
All right. Nice. This will be the first time.
First time. 6-iron. A McDonald Downey. All right.
The advice that I've sort of pieced together is you have to swing smooth with it.
Okay.
Because if you go at it, then there's not the torque
exactly.
in
Well,
the shaft.
that's going to be easy because I swing it smooth all the time. So.
Perfect.
All right. So 140 yards, huh?
Yeah, 140.
It doesn't really matter the direction, right?
Just anywhere between that crane and the 250. That's sort of your fairway.
All right.
If you like.
Okay.
Talk me through what you're thinking of doing.
First, I'm gonna try to grip it tight.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of slippery, and the wind is coming a little bit off the right. So 6-iron, I'm gonna try to. I mean, you told me to swing it smooth, so I'm gonna try to cut a little bit against the wind and with a smooth swing and try to get it at 140 yards.
Okay, I love
see how
it.
that goes.
Let's see.
All right. It's a little bit flat for me, but.
Yeah.
All right. 140.
Yeah, 140. Nice flight.
Yeah, wrong direction.
How did that feel with the hickory?
Toey and a little bit lefty, and it wobbled a little bit.
Did it?
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as I thought.
I'm just waiting on hearing the result. I think that perhaps didn't quite capture. So
okay,
actually
perfect.
We have another go.
Perfect.
That was just the practice.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Easy.
Yeah, I know.
Now
it was
you have
like,
a feel for the hickory.
It was 40 yards left of what you told me. So.
What did you think that last distance was, if you had to guess?
About 130, 125.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So this is the one.
I got it. Okay. Check my aiming. That was better.
Yeah. That was a lovely flight.
Nice cut.
Lovely. All right, we're getting the result now on the screen. 145.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's not bad, huh?
That's good.
There you go, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to speak with Callaway to change my clubs, huh?
Yeah. I tell you what, you actually flighted that wonderfully.
I know, that's good.
So hickory, now that you go back to your regular clubs, that's going to feel amazing, isn't it?
I know. It was a little bit weird feeling, but, you know, if you hit it in the middle, it flies good.
Now the game's going to be easy for you for the rest of the week.
Oh, hopefully, we'll see.
Neto, thank you so much for joining us.
Doctors confirm golf is good for your physical and mental health.
Oh.
So, down on the driving range, delighted to be joined by Ewan Porter. Ewan, welcome, mate.
Thank you very much, Simon. What a wonderful opening day it is.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We haven't really sort of had too much, you know, this is the second year of having this technology all down on the driving range, so really taking you to the heartbeat of the golf course, and that is the driving range. Ewan, you had 3 opens as a competitor. What were they like?
Unlike nothing else that I'd ever experienced, unfortunately, I played poorly in those 3 Open Championships, although I did play the weekend at St Andrews in 2010. We got suspended on Friday, so I came back Saturday to finish my round. So I can always say I played the weekend at the Open. But
yeah, okay.
Just an incredible experience, and you know, the golf, the crowd, just as I said, it really, you can't compare it to anything else. I played the bulk of my career in the US, and you know, to come over here and play a championship that I grew up watching early on as a kid back home in Australia, it's just such a treat. And now to be broadcasting, it's a privilege.
Yeah, it's great. It is great. Well, you're most welcome. And we've got Ollie Wilson, who we're looking at. Ollie Wilson's been really putting in a lot of time. He's got a coach with Robert Rock at the moment, who was a former player turned coach, working a little bit on kind of some arm positions. But Ollie, a couple of good results in the last few weeks.
Yeah, runner-up at the Betfred British Masters. Ended up finishing just a couple of shots behind Daniel Hillier there. A winner at the Maid in Himalayan last year. I did a podcast early in the year with Ollie Wilson, and I've played a couple of times with him in the past, and really one of the most resilient characters and hardest workers, you'd have to say, on tour, wouldn't you? Because he really has ridden quite a serious roller coaster as a professional.
Yeah, his form, you know, from Ryder Cupper to, like, you know, a disappearing act, it's really been such an unusual wave of performance. But as you say, like, every single time you see him, he's got a smile on his face. He's loving the process. He's totally absorbed about what he's doing right now. He's not worried about what he did a month ago, and maybe that kind of bulletproofness or resilience is a part of being a pro golfer, because the game will kick your... The game is tough, isn't it?
No question. And I know Nick O'Hearn, fellow Australian, he reached top 20 in the world. One of the most consistent performers, both results and ball striking, that I've ever seen in my professional career. And he told me that twice during the year, he felt like his game was where it should be. There was always something he was fighting.
Yeah. I remember speaking to Tiger, I think, in 2005, and he said that in 4 of the tournaments that he played, could he do the thing that he was trying to do? And everything, all the other times, it was just a case of, okay, I've just got to do something to get me around. So he never was able to kind of like bring the thought that he wanted and execute it how he wanted. So Ollie Wilson working hard, lots of body angles, lots of coil. Don't slide off the ball. Don't get too squatty into that right heel. Don't get that right arm stuck behind you. So Ollie Wilson, I don't know if you know the character in the Inspector Gadget, right? Inspector Gadget had like every single swing aid, right? Well, Ollie has got every single thing, and then he's designed a few, so there's no question that if there's a sort of a competition of who's got the most toys, Ollie is the winner.
And to be fair, if that was any other professional golfer, you would do your own heading and they'd struggle. It'd be paralysis by analysis, but it works for Ollie Wilson. He loves it. He gets a kick out of it.
He does. So Ollie is off to battle. So Henrik Stenson is there in the blue. Jordan Smith has finished his session.
Jordan Spieth coming off a round of 2 under par 69, a couple of sixes on the scorecard. His coach there, Cameron McCormack, fellow Australian, been working with him since his junior golf days. Cameron, a busy man these days, and also a fantastic follow on Twitter. He gives out a lot of advice on how to, I guess, how to best instruct parents who have talented kids, talented golfers, and not overstep the mark or the boundaries and not push too hard. He really is, as I said, a great follow.
Yeah, and that's such an important thing. Mums and dads, don't ruin your child's love of the game. That's crucial. Let them grow. Jordan Spieth was working hard this morning. Here's an unusual grip, don't you think?
We were talking about this last week. It almost looks to me like his index finger, forefinger on his left hand, is too long. It's like he's got the longest forefinger I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like there's nowhere for it to go, and you can tell his hands are really fidgety, aren't they? Like the right thumb does like a proper tap dance.
It does.
So if we could sort of see it from the very beginning. So Spieth, this is him warming down.
It almost reminds me a little bit of Brandt Snedeker, whose right thumb is off the grip until about halfway back.
Yeah, or Sergio. Remember, Sergio had a tough time. So watch this. Boom, there it goes. What's up with that?
I've actually never seen it that fidgety. He's always been fidgety, but that looks to be the extreme.
Don't you think? Anyway, so Spieth, he has been... What did he do? He doubled 8. Doubled 8, that's disappointing, and then bogeyed the last. Oh, so, but nevertheless, a good Spieth. They call him the golden child, right? He did have magic, didn't he?
What he did, he set such a high benchmark early on in his early to mid-20s that from that point, he still had a very successful career, but it absolutely pales in comparison to what he did earlier on. So everyone thinks he's in a slump.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think he thinks he's in a slump. So
he's had a good year too. He's had 5 top 5 finishes. He lost that playoff to Fitzpatrick at the RBC Heritage. But I love the way him, Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, they all embrace links golf. They all embrace the culture over here. That's not always been the case for Americans.
Hey, now Ewan, you wouldn't have seen this, but we have a worm cam, right? Have a look at that. What do you think about that? It just comes out of the ground, it sneaks out, and you can see this view of sort of seeing the balls go over our head. So interesting for the viewers to see how rotated through the ball is. Look where those hands are at the finish, way outside of that left shoulder.
Well, I think the more camera angles, the better, really. I mean, the more you can learn from these players. Even looking at the feet as well from here, from Wormcam, and how much, I guess, how important the footwork is for an elite player as well, how much they use the ground. That's obviously a hot topic these days.
Look at that left foot, though. I mean, that looks like it's going to break. That's a semi-Scheffler. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely it is, yeah. I mean, and that left foot, you don't see it so much with the irons, but with driver in hand.
Watch this, though. This is just a clipped 177. That's an 8-iron. Watch this. The whole of the shoes.
You don't see that too often, do you?
Right? The whole of the shoes rolled over. So that's like the outside of the ankles are 90 degrees. Hey?
We're used to seeing now that left foot will flare and turn out of the way and move
like
out of the way, not so much a significant roll.
So here we go. So Spieth really working on the tightness of the turn, not to get too lateral, not to sway off and then not get back. So Spieth really trying to be centered and rotated. Here we go. Who else does Cameron coach?
He was coaching, what's her name? So-Yeon Ryu, former #1 player in the world for a long time. He teaches out of Trinity Forest in Dallas, one of the great facilities there.
So as we pull back out there, you're going to really get a chance to see the magic on the driving range. So our hostess, the hostess with the mostess, is Diana Stewart.
Oh, thank you very much, Simon. Am I the hostess with the mostess? I'm not too sure. But I am here on the range, and ladies and gents, we've got a couple of 4 balls to give away. Do I get a woo? That's a good reaction. I wasn't expecting that. You've done well so far. Hello, what's your name?
It's Mike.
Right, Mike. Are you available by any chance to play at Royal Birkdale tomorrow?
I think I could be very available to play Royal Birkdale tomorrow.
Really? Do you think you could be working from home tomorrow?
Yeah, could you tell me wife if I do get to play it, that I can play Birkdale tomorrow?
Well, listen, MasterCard and the One Club have been very kind, and we have these 2 4 balls available. So, Mike, because I've come to you first, if you get this question right, you could be playing Royal Birkdale tomorrow. I'm feeling a little bit nervous for Mike. Is everyone else? Yeah. Okay, so the question is, Mike, when is the next Open Championship going to be held at Royal Birkdale? You've got 3 seconds to... No, you don't. You can answer whenever.
It's in 3 years, isn't it? 2026.
Can we give him a round of applause? Yeah! Well done. Here we go. It's like this is your life. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Have you got some friends?
Yeah, I do have friends, yeah. I've got maybe have 3 of them. Might have 3 of them, yeah.
I'm a friend.
Is this your son?
It is, yeah.
Okay, but he's not playing?
No, he's not playing.
No, okay.
No.
Well, very, very well done.
Thank you very much.
Would you, I know, we spoke earlier. You're available tomorrow, aren't you? What's your name?
It's Gary.
Hi, Gary. Now, if you get it wrong, I've got 2 gents here who are going to answer the question. So, Gary from Scotland. Whereabouts in Scotland?
East Lothian.
East Lothian, marvellous. Right, the One Club and MasterCard have this second 4 ball available. If you answer this question correctly, you will be playing Royal Birkdale tomorrow. Do you have friends?
Hey, I've got 1 or 2, yeah.
Great stuff. You need 3 for tomorrow, because 3 + 1 is 4. Great stuff. So the question is, who was the last player to win the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale? Oh, Gary! Kev, can you see? Everyone's getting a bit stressed here. We're getting a bit worried. We could give him a tip, couldn't we?
Was it Jordan Spieth?
Give him a round of applause! There was a massive clue, because if you pan round to the gent in the orange, well, I think it's orange, Jordan Spieth is on the range. There we go. I mean, he was literally in front of you, the answer. They shot a round of 2 under par. You are correct. You have won a 4 ball to play Royal Birkdale tomorrow. Fantastic stuff. And Kev, if you'd like to see the envelope being handed over, there you go, sir. Play well. Can we give them a huge round of applause? Well done, Mike, and to Gary. And they'll be playing Royal Birkdale. We'll still be here on the range. Well done, chaps.
Amazing. How about that? They weren't expecting that to have a game on one of the great links golf courses. That's perfect.
What a treat, and hopefully the weather cooperates. It's meant to.
So Spieth working with the 2-iron. That's something I think he has in the bag quite often, isn't it? That club's not for this week only. You do see him use that.
It's probably the one part of, I'd say, professional golfers these days that impresses me the most. So hitting the ball 310, 320, 330 off the tee, yes, it's impressive, but I understand it because you can tee it up high, get behind it, give it a rip. But so many of these guys now, they're 2 and 3 irons, they're hitting 270, hoisting it straight up in the air. The stinger is the low one is a really cool one to watch, but to be able to hit it 260, 270 straight up in the air like these top players do, I think is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, we've seen some of the apexes get all the way. Rory had one at like 137 apex with an iron, which is literally like up your nose, isn't it? So, I mean, that is, didn't even hit the ground, just clipped it. So, Spieth in position, really feeling in position for an amazing week of golf in the Open. I mean, that's one of the big things, isn't it? Because you can shoot yourself out on day one, right? That, I mean, to shoot 2 under for a Spieth is massive, I think.
Huge. Yeah, no question. Obviously a disappointing finish, but he's right there, 2 under par, and he's been doing a lot of work over the past 18 months on his swing. Deeper hip turn going back, getting the club more laid off at the top of his swing, but he's gotten it to a point now where it's all second nature. And it's not easy to play through that when you're making significant changes.
No, I think they are significant changes. So, I mean, like Ricky Fowler's trying to get it less laid off and more online. Jordan tends to get it kind of lifted and across, and so you're trying to get it deeper. I mean, they are big changes, as you say, to take out, and you know, as a spotlight player, everyone's looking at you going, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And you've got to be bulletproof enough to block that out and be committed to the change. It's an impressive mental skill, that mental strength, Ewan.
Absolutely, and I think it's not just the change of position at the top of the swing, because Jordan used to be a little more upright and slightly across. He naturally brought the club back down a little more on the inside. So once you get it more laid off, all of a sudden you then need a different downswing feel and position as well. So, I mean, it's not just the top of the swing, it's the rest of the swing as well, and it takes a long, long time to ingrain.
Yeah, the chain reaction. So, very impressed, I think. You know, almost like, you know, you look at Jordan Spieth address position and you look at his grip and you look at how he swings it and you go, well, okay, but maybe the most amazing part of his game's in his head. Like, his biggest strength isn't a physical thing, it's a mental thing, an ability to execute and be calm and hit the big shots at the right time.
I think it's an attribute that we probably don't speak enough about with a lot of these top players. If you stood behind pretty much any player teeing it up in the Open Championship, you watch them hit balls on the range, there's really only maybe a handful that would stand out from the rest. Everyone you look at and you think that's seriously impressive, they've got all the shots, but it's what's between the ears when you're out there, and Jordan Spieth certainly has it.
Yeah, so just ending his practice here, having gone out onto the battle. That's a left one. I don't think that's what he was trying to do. So maybe that's a missed strike, little toe strike. Certainly immediately didn't like it.
It's interesting the feels these players have when they finish around. I know Craig Parry, former Australian golfer, champion Australian golfer, he always hit a pronounced fade. But if he was struggling with his ball striking out on the golf course, he would get to the range, he would hit his, wouldn't tee up the driver or the 3-wood, he'd hit it off the ground and he'd hit big cuts. Yeah. He said that got me more level, it got me shallower, it stopped me from getting behind the ball. And for him, that might not work for anyone else, but for Craig Parry, that was his go-to when he was struggling.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to have like a little medicine shot that kind of, you know, if you do this 3 or 4 times and I just keep running through it, that medicine kind of can't get rid of whatever mistakes I'm doing. So, very interesting.
No wonder, you see how low he's teeing it down there.
Ricky Fowler did the same this morning. Very, very low.
Is he working on the low shot? Is he working on trying to cut it a little bit?
I mean, that's only 9 degrees of launch, so I would think that's not the full beans, right? I would think the full beans is like 12 degrees of launch and probably like 120 apex. So I think that's a shot for the week. I think could that be like the fairway finder? Because it's only 176. It's not the full beans smack, is it?
No, 102 feet of apex is still fairly high for teeing it down that low.
Spieth. Let's have a look. A little bit more spin on the ball. That's the higher one. That's 11 degrees of launch. maybe a little bit less spin. Just different shots, aren't they? So, SPEITH, fireworks show. We have this amazing guy called Fred. You wouldn't have met Fred yet, but he's got a mum called Karen, and between the two of them, we think it's a gift in the family. They can do these amazing fireworks shows, and we've recently discovered that Karen, Fred's mum, who does this, is single, and there's an eligibility thing, which so like me and you are gonna like really vet this of like who's coming in for this. But we might take like a top 3 and see what happens. So Karen, just let's tidy up a little bit. Okay, so enough of that. SPEITH.
I'm not sure where to go from there, Simon.
No, I wasn't sure. Just say so. That is low, isn't it? So it's a little punchy one. So
I think what's fascinating there is Cameron McCormack behind him. You've got Boyd Summerhays, who coaches Taylor Gooch. Behind him also coaches Tony Finau. But I turned pro in 2001, and I know my first few years on tour, you barely see a coach on the range. Now you barely see a player without one.
Yeah, that is true. I think I coached a long time ago for all sorts of players, and at the Open I would say could easily be, you know, like Bob Torrance and I might have been the only guys on the driving range who were coaches in sort of 1990, 91, 92, 93. Pete Cowan came out in 95, and now it's like the top kind of really superstar players, they almost have like their own coach. You know, I might have coached 20 guys on a driving range at an Open. Interesting. SPEITH. Cruising through a few looseners. Is this just sort of more to relax his mind, or did he really want to work on something? What do you think, Ewan?
I think this is more just simply a warm down with the wedges. I don't think there's anything specific really there, but Jordan really almost an old school style warm up and warm down, whereas a lot of players now will play the golf course on the range. They'll go through the yardage book, and instead of, you know, they'll warm up with a few wedges and 9-irons, what have you, to get loose, but then from there, as opposed to 5 or 6 6-irons, 5 or 6 3-irons, a couple of 3-woods drivers, etc., they'll go straight into playing the course. Well, the first hole calls for a little draw. They'll hit driver and hit a draw. Then they'll hit a 9-iron because they've got 143 or whatever it is to the flag.
Yeah, game has changed. Well, there's some very happy news for the Fleetwood fans at the bottom left of your screen. Tommy Fleetwood shot 5 under par, 66, and George caught up with him.
Tommy Fleetwood.
George Porgy.
Good afternoon. Not a bad day at the office in your backyard.
Yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, very cool. Hey guys. Yeah, from crowd support to getting on that run in the back 9, it's been good. Just sort of decompressing at this point.
You can almost feel it in your body. It's sort of a massive sigh of relief, and just to have that in the bag, and I guess to have a 5 under in the bag's not too bad either.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take it for now. At the moment, we're leading the Open, which is quite a cool feeling. Yeah, look, it's a long week, the long rounds. And yeah, you know, you get off the golf course. I'm glad that there's not that much to do sort of practice-wise. I can just rest up and I'll get ready for tomorrow.
We can hear all the fans around us. How was it out there today? Was it absolute chaos with all the locals?
It was so special. From walking onto the first tee all the way through. Thanks, mate. Thank you. All the way, you know, throughout the round, just the support. Walking down the last the reception, you get there. I mean, you can't write that stuff. It's so cool, and so lucky to have that support. And you know, you've got to go out there and enjoy it. I'm glad I gave them something good to watch anyway.
Well, you certainly did. 3 birdies on the trot to fire up to the top. That must have felt pretty good half an hour.
Yeah, it was great. I was playing well. Felt like I had pretty good control of my ball. Once I got sort of midway through the front 9, started playing well, and yeah, just get on those runs sometimes without noticing it. 2 great shots into 14, and 15 good drive, which cuts the hole down, and 16 roll one in. It was just one of those, you know, things were going sort of my way at the time, so you just got to roll with it at that point.
Well, you've got to roll with a little bit more media, so thanks for your time and enjoy the top of the leaderboard.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, Jeff.
Origins premium experiences at the Open. The ultimate way to experience golf's original championship. Enjoy unparalleled on-course views as the world's best golfers take on the challenge of the links. With over 10 hours of world-class action, mouth-watering food and complimentary drinks, guests can soak up the nail-biting atmosphere like never before. Watch history in the making. Whether you're looking for the ultimate client experience or a memorable day with a group of friends, Origins offers a variety of fully inclusive premium experiences that cater to every taste and budget. Don't miss your chance to guarantee your place and the experience of a lifetime.
Fascinating to hear from Tommy Fleetwood, who has just had the dream day, Ewan. If you're the local hero and that's your first day, how are you feeling?
Well, he's on cloud 9 right now. Little bromance going on with George there as well. Tommy Fleetwood, but you heard him say that he doesn't really feel like he has that much to work on. He can relax a lot, and you know, for most people watching, you'd think, well, why is he even bothering going to practice? He shot 66, he's leading the Open, he did it easily, but all these players have their routines. Some would, you know, some would feel that some part of their game isn't quite sharp enough and they'd go and grind on the range, but obviously Tommy Fleetwood in a really good place right now, and, you know, the reception that he got out on the golf course, I think, you know, he might be the only player coming down the stretch that could rival what we hear for Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, I think that's right, 100%. And I think it is a case of, like, you know, players do like to just almost like just decompress their heads, go through some feels. Like, you know what, I found this feel. You know, if you look at Tommy Fleetwood's round, something happened around kind of 11. So his back 9 goes par, birdie, par, par, birdie, 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 par. Didn't birdie 18, but that's a fantastic move through the field, isn't it? So interesting to see. So we'll soon see Tommy Fleetwood. Here's Marco Pence. He's one of the late starters, going out at 4:16.
We played a practice round yesterday, Marco, with Phil Mickelson and John Rahm.
Oh, wow.
Getting used to the crowds early on.
Yeah, so the last man hitting the ball, first man was Matthew Jordan, last man Marco Peng. So interesting to see.
Simon, I think that's another amazing thing about the Open Championship is just simply the tee times themselves. I mean, unless there's a significant weather delay, you never see tee times 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30. And I remember my first couple of Opens, 07, 08, I teed off at between 3:40 and 4 p.m. The first couple of days, and I'm an early riser.
Oh boy.
It gets light at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Plus, add to that the nerves and the anxiety. And I'm up at 4. I'm up 12 hours before my tee time. I could have gone and played 36 holes at a local course.
What time did you start hitting balls before? Did you stick to your routine, or did you have a morning session and go and have a lunch and have a kip and then come back, or how did you spend the time?
It was hard sticking to my usual routine at that point. I used to like getting to the course 90 minutes early, give myself an opportunity to stretch, loosen up, grab a bite to eat, you know, go to the range, putt, whatever. But you know, at that time of the day when you're just twiddling your thumbs, I tended to go out there a little bit earlier and just to absorb the atmosphere, because, you know, I'd consider myself, I was a good player, but I didn't know if I'd ever experience that again. So I just wanted to make the most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what our debutants and our amateurs have said this week. It's just like, okay, you know, whatever happens, I don't want to miss a single thing. So it's magical. There's only one Open. There's only one tournament like this.
Well, the best way I describe it to my experiences to people is, you know, I played 3, I missed 3 cuts. The weather was terrible every time I played, but it's not often as a professional golfer you miss a cut or play poorly and you want to just get back and do it again and get straight back out there. And that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, it's magic. It's the history that's the magic. It's the connection to the past. Just amazing. So the driving range is just seeing a bit of action as the morning wave have finished their rounds and come back in, having a few shots just to go through it. There's the tension of those who have not yet gone out, who will still have their dreams intact. Marco Peng, Huang Su, sorry if I don't get that right, Han, and Hurley Long will be finishing up, sending the last guys out. They'll be bringing in the flags at 4:16.
It's an incredible performance for Marco to even qualify for this week. He's been playing on the Challenge Tour, the secondary tour here in Europe, but this season alone, 10 missed cuts and a DQ. Certainly those sort of statistics don't warrant that you're going to qualify for the Open, and yet here he is.
Yeah, certainly that doesn't imply that you're in any kind of form at all. So, following his tracer, hitting darts.
266 with an iron. I know you had that in the bag, Simon, but wasn't
I was
in my
always
repertoire.
very, I don't know if there's a word, sort of, my game was more explastic, which is sort of a combination of explosive and elastic. And that's just how I rolled. But anyway, 172 ball speed, plenty of speed, isn't there? So speed management can be hard when you're a young player. If you've just got that much power, it's like, you know, do you have the discipline to use it in the right places?
I think it was fascinating watching Christo Lemprecht this morning, the amateur, who went around in 5 under par. He's 6'8", 192 mile/hour ball speed. A golf course like this, pretty much any links golf, just has always historically required so much strategy. And yet the young players now, because of the technology and how far they're hitting it, it is simply a matter of bomb it. Maybe not so much if the weather turns, but right now it's bomb it. Get it out there. If it's in the rough, doesn't matter. You've got a wedge in, you'll gouge it out onto the green. And that's exactly what we saw from Lemprecht this morning.
The way he played the third. You see how he played the third?
Not
he hit
the third.
it 340 into the rough on the other side of the fairway. So just banged it straight out through the run out. Had like 90 yards, played it up to that back right pin, knocked it in. Got a lie in the rough and knocked it out.
Did it on 11. That hole's 387.
Yeah.
He was 20 yards short of the green, but
Yeah.
40 yards off the fairway, but it's just a
Yeah.
pitch on.
Yeah.
You're not doing that with Persimmon and Balata.
You are not. No. No. Persimmon and Balata was how you sort of got into rhythms like Ernie Els, Nick Faldo, Monty. Pace players. Like they were really just swinging the club head through. Now it's almost these guys are like swinging the shaft as fast as they can. It's almost like no face rotation, block the shaft and bang it like Hovland, Morikawa, all those guys. Just a different style. The technology has changed the game and technology has changed the swing. And now you really are rewarded. Like 30 years ago, it was like, well, you can't really play soccer, you're not that good at that, you're not really big enough for rugby and you're not fast enough for athletics. Have you ever tried golf, right? And now it's not like that.
They're all athletes now, there's no question. What about that shot there? 2 degrees launch and carried it 250.
Yeah. The stinger.
Did you see Rory hit the Persimmon last week? Our colleague Johnny Morgan, that was his Joe Powell Persimmon that he bought back from the US. And Rory, as we know, has 185-ish average ball speed, and the Persimmon he had 168.
Yeah.
And carried it, I think it was 45 or 50 yards less than his normal driver. And that's with a tailor-made ball that he's using, or a modern golf ball. You throw a Balata into the equation, all of a sudden take 10, 15 off that.
Yeah, it is fascinating. Well, there are lots of local heroes. Matthew Jordan was certainly a local hero, teed off first. And earlier in the week, he caught up with Sarah Stirk from the Sky Open Zone.
Yes, it is. I've only just arrived, so I'm trying to get like my bearings of like everything in place. I think I was just kind of being dragged towards the actual normal clubhouse and just what I normally do. So seeing everything up, obviously seeing certain faces as well. I think it's just going to grow throughout the week, and it's going to be amazing.
How bizarre is it at a club, a place? Obviously, you grew up West Kirby, just down the road, a golf club you know and have played for years since you were a little boy. How surreal is it, though, now having the Open Championship here? Obviously, you're playing the DP World Tour, but teeing it up somewhere so special to you, but with everything going on around you as well.
Yeah, I think it's certainly teeing up is the surreal part. I mean, I was lucky enough to be able to witness Tiger and Rory and see them win, and I've got certain memories of, I think, Sergio in his yellow outfit, and just, yeah, loads of stuff comes to mind. However, as you say, actually now being able to tee it up and seeing those guys do it and being able to do it myself, I think that's the kind of surreal part of it.
How do you kind of block out all the other stuff, all the periphery? I know that might be a bit of a bizarre question, but yeah, it's special, it's magical. You're here, but you're here and it's the Open Championship. You want to get out there, you want to perform. How do you block out the noise?
Good question. I've obviously had a lot of messages, so I think I've kind of just, when I've been at home, just tried to think, right, this is actually for me to perform and try and do as well as I possibly can, and try and think of how I would normally go about, you know, just as I say, a normal week, and how I'd prepare, and obviously all the added things come into it and take care of them. But at the end of the day, I want to prepare my best, and if I can prepare like I normally do, hopefully that should just give me some, you know, a normal kind of way of just going about things.
How many friends and family have been tapping you up for tickets this week?
There's a few. There's not many, but I probably shouldn't say that because there'll probably be more now. So yeah, it's weird. How do you give tickets based on kind of popularity and stuff like that? So I've kind of left that to other guys to fight over, and yeah, that's another thing that, again, it's just noise really, and I've got to try and block that out.
Absolutely. Look, let's have a look at some video, some archive video. How old do we think you were here? About, what do you reckon?
I don't know. I don't know. Too young for me to remember.
2, 3, wonderful though.
Yes, yeah, I mean, I don't remember them, but my parents will often, normally around Christmas time, they'll pull them back up and say, oh, look at this one, look at this one. There's a few tantrums in there, so I don't know if they've got
We've cut those out, we've edited those out. But what age did you start playing, and then what age were you playing here?
From ever since I could walk, I think it was. I used to go down to kind of the older Chipping Green. Now it's changed a bit, but I used to hit balls there with my dad and just annoy him.
So
animated as ever. And then as a member since 7 years old.
7 years old from a member, but literally from when you could walk, you had a golf club in your hand.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't think they'll show here, but there's like in the old flat that my mum and dad were at. I was basically in a nappy kind of thing, hitting balls. So yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, I've got an 18-month-old. I've got the plastic clubs in his hand. I'm trying to get him to play already. But yeah, lovely. And then how about this?
Yeah, it's as I say, I can't particularly remember them. I mean, I know the whole straight away, but I can't remember exactly what age or that certain memory. But it was, yeah, it's just been throughout my whole life, really. Just, I can remember certain moments. I can remember kind of duffing a 7-iron chip and run that went in and running around the green and no one was there. That was probably when I was about, again, 7 or 8. And so there's a few things up there, but yeah, I've played it so many times, I can't remember it all.
I know. Hitting the opening tee shot, though, you have the honour of hitting the opening tee shot on Thursday morning. I mean, all the build-up, a lot of talk, a lot of narrative, the fact you came through final qualifying to secure your spot here. But how big an honour is that for you? How special will that moment be?
Yeah, it's just an added special incentive, I think. I think teeing it off the first, no matter what, was going to be special to me and be a great moment. But obviously, I remember again as a kid, that first tee shot, waking up early, watching certain guys hit it, and it is, you know, it is the start of the Open. It's that moment where it goes, right, all the talk's done, and you can kind of get down to business. So for me to be able to do that, again, I'm sure I'll look back once I've done it and once the whole week's gone as just an amazing thing that I've been given the chance to do.
Absolutely. Look, we're going to show you, we're going to get you in, obviously. Lovely to look at that archive footage and talk about some of your memories here at Hoylake. But we have got the All Club Challenge. Obviously, we get a lot of players, celebrities, fans in the open zone this week. And it's done at random. So if you can press the club for me there, that's it, yeah. And it'll come up with a club that you have to hit. Lob wedge, okay. And then we go, do that. Yeah, then distance. And it's all done at random. So it's going to pick the distance you need to hit your lob wedge. 85.
Okay. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's not too bad.
That's not too challenging.
I could have expected worse. Maybe a driver at 85
exactly.
or something.
Well, it's completely at random. It could have been whatever. So if we just get you to pop over here to the demo area.
Yep.
So lob wedge will normally go for you how far?
This probably goes about 100.
100.
101, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So a nice, so 85.
Yep.
How would you take a few yards off that?
So I kind of have one mid-swing, which is when my arms are, say, parallel to the ground, and then I can actually do it through my feet. So I can do it through width of stance, and that will often vary how far it goes. So I think it's a fairly unique way of doing it, but it's always worked for me. So if I have my stance 3 balls apart, and I swing to that kind of parallel mid-shot, which I call it, that will go 78. This normal stance one will go 90, and obviously then I'll hit the full one. So your 85 is in between those two, but through practice I'm able to just be able to feel it and hit that kind of shot. So
Fantastic.
I will try it now.
Nice insight for us. There's nobody watching either. I mean, you're used to it anyway, but there's not too many people here.
I hope. Off a mat, sometimes it spins a bit more and goes a bit further, but we shall
sounded
see.
nice. And we're going to show you the distance. Creeping up. 79.
Could be better.
Have we got time for one more? Yeah, we have. Perfect.
Okay. Well, I've said it should be better, so hopefully it is.
That was a little unlucky because you caught that tree.
Oh, does it affect? Okay.
Yeah, but I can tell you, it's not going to come up on the screen, but they're telling me in my ear 82 yards. So
you've got someone good in your ear there.
Very good. Yeah, I think you'll take that. Very nice. Thank you for taking our challenge. Just a quick word about the week. Obviously, the confidence levels for you, given how well you know this golf course. Excitement, yes, but what are the confidence levels for you heading in?
Yeah, as I say, well, as you say, I know the golf course very well. I know what to do, and I also know what not to do. So I think for me personally, it's just over the 4 days, I just want to be able to play the course like I know I can, like I do in practice. And if I can do that, then yes, I'm sure I can shoot a good score. So that's my focus.
Brilliant. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us in the Opens. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, he's shone today, I've got to say. Matthew Jordan has done everyone proud at Royal Liverpool. He teed off, he was a local hero, he took half the town with him, and he shot 2 under par, 69, so congratulations. And we're kind of closing down on the driving range. So from Matthew to Marco Penge, there he goes. He'll be the last guy to hit a ball today. Be taking in the flags, as they say. It's a pretty big honour for him, and wish him all the very best. Well, he is a power player, and talking of power players, we've sort of been looking at who was the strongest, who was the longest, and those were the carries today. So 330 from our amateur player. The amateur players absolutely crunch it, don't they?
Lamprecht 327 as well. McIlroy sandwiched in between those two, but I actually have a little bit to do with junior amateur golf and college golf in the US myself, and how far they hit it. They pretty much hit it further than PGA Tour.
Yeah, because they learned to then tone it back. Because I mean, Alex Maguire, he's also an amateur. So the next lot of players have learned really in the last 5 years how to get maximum power. But interesting, Rory McIlroy still got it. And there it is. There are your longest shots. Those are carry numbers, and then you've got to sort of fit the power around the golf course. So the golf course is absolutely crucial. Let's hear a little bit more about that.
And you'll see the clubhouse down the left with everybody watching on. And then down the right-hand side, you've got what's known as the cop. This is an out-of-bounds line, internal out-of-bounds. You don't see that very often. So you've got a decision to make. Do you take something up the left and leave yourself a mid-iron in? Or perhaps you're going to take the driver out and find some courage to fly the lot and leave yourself just a flick on?
If you pull it up here green side at 3, you find yourself down here in a little bowl, a little catchment area. tight lies, downhill all the way on this side of the green. I think we'll see a lot of players putt it out of that little bowl. The green is a V shape. It's like a little valley. It kicks in if you push it on the right, but not so much on the right. The green is deep. It isn't long. It's quite circular. Out of bounds, all the way up the right-hand side, not far from the right-hand flag over here, 15 paces out of bounds. Will you be saved? The rough over here is very thick. Look at that, I can only just see it. I've been lucky, or have I? This third hole, 4, is a great score.
The 11th hole, a par 4 at the furthermost point on the golf course. Do not get distracted by the beautiful scenery because this hole presents a really great opportunity. It's called the Alps. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out why. She's up and she's down like a helter-skelter. The prevailing wind is into the face off the left. But if it switches around and you find that it's helping, this hole is only 392 yards. So, will the players dare take a pop at it?
Take it on with the driver if you like. Have a crack. Rough everywhere. I believe most players will play down in this little bowl. Right down in this little flat spot. Closer. 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 Oh, or will they hit a long iron, maybe a 3-wood, and hit it over this brow? Down she pops. If these fairways get fast, that could run into the right rough. Off you go, my fine feathered friend. Let's take it up to the green. Left-hand bunker, just short. Another one over there on the right-hand side. This green is shaped from front left to back right. It sits across you. It's easier into the breeze, the second shot. Out of the left, very difficult because the green tilts from front left to back right. So it's very difficult to draw it in there. There's a little bowl catchment area just left of the green. Difficult to get it up and down as the green runs away from you. This is a classic risk and reward. It is a ripper. The simply stunning 13th at Hoylake. It's a par 3. It's a 194-yarder with the water down the left-hand side, the shoreline, with the wind out of the left-hand side. It looks brutal because it is. If it's out of the right, you can hold it up. Gee whiz, the green doesn't look very large. How big is it, Iona?
It's quite a long target radar, 42 paces from front to back, to be exact. It's not particularly wide, and it cuts across you at a really weird angle. You probably can't see that back left portion from the tee. It's totally skew-if, and it's completely exposed to the Dee estuary. If the wind does pick up during the week of the Open, you could find some tee shots coming in here, getting gobbled up by the wind, hitting this false front. And look what's lurking over here. If you Googled pot bunker, this is what you might find. A classic example, not particularly big. And boy, oh boy, you could get all sorts of lies in here. Plenty of trouble to be found at the 13th green.
Introducing to you, Little I. This is the newest hole on all of the Open Championships rota. 136 yards. It doesn't sound very much, does it? Just a wedge down breeze. What about when the wind's out of the left-hand side? What about when the wind's out of the right-hand side? What about when it's in 2 and you're punching a little 6 or a 7 iron in here? Oh, my word. You, baby, take a fly up there and show us where it can all go wrong.
Take a look at this beautiful tabletop green with the Dee estuary in the backdrop. If you go a bit further in that direction, eventually you'll get to Wales. Listen, this green, it kind of gathers in the middle, but predominantly it slopes from back to front with big runoff swales left and right that will just be gobbled up by these coffin-like bunkers. However, if there's one thing you need to look out for on this new par 3, it's this false front. Let's say you hit your tee shot and it hasn't quite made it to the top. Watch what's going to happen. It's good night. It's going to roll all the way back down into this dungeon of doom. And your ball, it's going to end up there. It's so deep. Even if you hit a beautiful bunker shot out of here. Watch this. It's going to come right back to your feet, and if you're unlucky, maybe even back into your own footprint. We could be seeing double figures here. We're going to see plenty of drama at this cracking little par 3. We've made it to the 18th, the final hole, par 5, 609 yards, an absolute beauty. Off the tee, it's wider than it looks. There are 2 fairway bunkers down the left-hand side, but be careful, if that pushes you over to the right-hand side, all over by the Patrons Pavilion is out of bounds. If it's playing the prevailing wind, which is down, you'll see loads of players having a crack at this in 2. However, if the wind switches around, it's a totally different story. If you do get a good drive away and find the short stuff, it's risk and reward from there on in. Take it away, Radar.
The out of bounds continues up the right-hand side, up here, green side. You push a little if you're chasing, it's Oscar Bravo. Just short right, the rough. It is so very thick and gnarly. It wraps around the hosel. You smother it. Into this front right bunker, there are 5 bunkers surrounding this green, the 18th. This is where it all happens. There's a narrow gate here at the front. You need an eagle, you need a birdie to win. Who knows? This is the Open Championship, 151st edition. Hoylake, Royal Liverpool, bring it on. Who is going to be the champion golfer of the year?
Well, as you can see, there is plenty of hustle and bustle out here on the links. We've made it to the 3rd hole, and there are punters absolutely everywhere, and it's pretty easy to guess where I am. Rose, RAHM and MCILROY. It's been one great day watching these players warm up, the anticipation of the Open, and it's now great to see it underway. Balls are in the air, and there's plenty of golf to be watched, so I think I'm going to love you and leave you. This is too good not to follow, so thanks for your help on the range. You have fun over there. I'm going this way.
Are you moving?
Come on, let's go. Let's go watch Rory.
Down on the range with Pete Finch, and it's getting to, well, almost getting to evening time, 18 minutes until the last tee-off time. And we did see Marco Penge on here a few moments ago, made his way to the first tee. You're looking at Scotty Scheffler, shot 1 under par today, Pete. Solid round.
Yeah, again, his putting just...
Yeah, three bogeys.
His putting just wasn't there again, but in true Scotty Scheffler style, managed to scramble it round in 1 under. It's almost impossible to keep him off the top of the leaderboard at times, because he didn't do himself any favours, and yet there he is again. He's going to be in contention at the weekend. He always is. Can he get his putting together?
Yeah, this is the bird's eye view of the range, which is across the road from the golf course. Little shuttle buses, the patrons, spectators walk over. It's a really short walk. Top of the leaderboard, the amateur Lamprecht and Tommy Fleetwood at -5. Fleetwood with 3 birdies in his last 5 holes. Absolutely brilliant. Various ways to watch us as well tomorrow. We're back actually 7:30 a.m. on the range Friday morning, day 2 of the Open Championship. It is the Open YouTube channel. You can also watch us on the website and TikTok as well. And for UK viewers, you can press the red button on Sky Sports. So a variety of ways to keep up to date with what we are doing on the range. And we've got to mention Tommy Fleetwood, 5 under par, playing in front of the home fans. It's a fantastic storyline.
It's so good, and it's what everybody wanted. Literally everybody wanted him to be up at the top of the leaderboard. We were saying that anything under par would have been great, but to be 5 on the top of the leaderboard, ideal.
Spot on. We will see you tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m, bright and early. Join us then. Goodbye.